Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Six Rings Kane Show on a new night, Monday night now, baby. We're really excited, actually, to have Eric McLean on the show here, college football analyst, co-host of The Huddle. Coach, yes! All right!
First touchdown of the year.
Miami Hurricanes, yeah. You know the name already. It's Mercy. Ha ha. It's a six-ring Kane show. Can't forget the name though. Got Jazz, Blue, Vishnu, DJ, break the game code. Ain't no changing them, ain't no breaking them. We reporting live from the Hard Rock Stadium. Ball 14 for the orange and green. We see the six-ring champs. It's more than a dream. This is life on the field. Beyond 100 yards of hurricane that's never still put a damage to your squad.
What's wrong with us? Seriously.
What's wrong with us? We're Miami Hurricanes fans.
Welcome to the Six Rings Kane Show, a show dedicated to Miami Hurricane sports, featuring the legendary Larry Bluestein, Jazz Santana, Vish, and Danny Gillette. Let's go Canes.
Hello and welcome to another Six Rings Canes basketball show with my co-host, Melissa. How you doing, Melissa?
What's up, Vish? How's it going?
Good. Happy to have you as a co-host now, more permanently.
Yeah, I'm glad you don't have to just talk to yourself from now on. You got some.
There is literally, if you go back to the YouTube stream, there is like me talking about like men's and women's basketball and baseball just into camera. So yeah.
Well, now you got me and Matty Ice now.
Yeah,
so we got a nice little trio of hoops legit fans.
Yes, which I am very excited about, and we're already arguing over Twitter DMs. So we've already got a rapport going there. But I guess before we talk hoops, there's a lot of news today. Some not great for us, but we'll talk through that. But first, I feel like you don't need an introduction, but still, let's do a little bit of an introduction. So I'd love if you could talk through, like, you're obviously a Miami alum, like I am. Oh, it's nice. I just realized we have another alum now in the network.
Double Kane.
Yeah,
Double Kane. No, you too, right? You're a Double Kane also, right?
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff. Yeah. I went a little bit after you. I did my undergrad. I finished in 2008. And then went back and got my master's in 2016.
Yeah, I did continuous undergrad was 2003 and then master's was 2005.
My major required some experience in between one to the next. So
yeah, actually, I went back to school after that, but not at Miami after I worked for a bit. So
I actually went back to Miami to get a third degree, but didn't finish. Barely started and decided it wasn't my thing.
It wasn't your thing.
Nah, I'm good. Almost could have been a triple Kane, but decided I don't want to do all the work.
Yeah, it's hard. Like I went back I did an MBA at Carnegie Mellon after I had worked for a little bit, and it's hard to kind of go back into that life. So you did that already, so doing it again.
Yeah, I guess not worth more student loans.
Yeah, well, yeah, elephant in the room there. All right, well, yeah, so obviously you're an alum, and that's probably where a lot of your love of Miami basketball comes from. But love for you to kind of talk through a little bit about how why Miami in the first place? Because I think I'm sure you had options there, and kind of what was it about Miami that made you want to go there, and that led to you being a Miami basketball fan and now expert, by the way.
It was two real simple reasons why I ended up at Miami. One was I'm a South Florida native, and I didn't really want to go that far. But also, when I went in 2004, Miami was still, very much in the thick of college football, fresh off a championship in 2001 and getting screwed out of one in 2002. So the sports scene was a big thing for me. But I actually went on a tour of Miami. My brother took me down there one summer. I think it was before my senior year. And I knew I wanted to go there after I saw the wellness center. They just had multiple indoor basketball courts and the gym. And I was like, all right, I'm sold. I'll go here. Wasn't too far. The only thing that sucked was we got so lost because this was really in the days before we had GPS. So we had MapQuest printed directions. And I don't know if I'm sure you've been to the Coral Gables campus, but if anyone's listening to this or watching this that hasn't been there.
I hope so. We
just
talked about all the degrees I had from there. Hopefully.
Right? Oh, that's true. You have been. But for people who haven't been there aren't street signs. There's the street signs, I'm doing air quotes, are rocks on the ground.
That's a Coral Gables thing, yeah.
So it's quite confusing trying to find your way around there the first time you go down there because you're looking up for street signs, not looking down on the ground at rocks. So I'm pretty sure me and my brother got lost for like a good hour trying to find our way around, looking for like the admissions building to take the tour. But yeah, but no, I pretty much fell in love with it as soon as I saw the wellness center.
Thanks, Jackson, for the shout out there. Yeah, we're gonna do a lot of shows, Melissa and I, and also if you've seen Matt, he's also part of our hoops coverage now too. So it's hard to get. One day we will get all. Maybe we have to do like a weekend stream just so we can all three get on a call at once. But
not necessarily. I work weekends sometimes.
I think you told. I mean, I might overshare here. You told me I think you get Saturdays off, so we might have to do something there.
Most of the time I get Saturdays off, so we can figure that out as long as it's not during football season.
Well, I mean, I'll have the same obligation you will. So.
Also, right, we were talking parking pass misery earlier.
Yeah. I'm glad you're in because I just took a shot on Greenlaw because I was like, they jacked up all the prices anyway. I was like, I might as well pay for this and have the hour early in the direction, like no directed parking.
I know we're talking basketball, but I'm so angry with the parking lot situation with football because last year the only option I had left was yellow lot or maroon lot, and maroon lot was actually like the highest price lot, but I took that because I didn't want to park across the street in yellow. Yeah. And last year it was $300 to park in a dirt lot on the north side of the stadium. This year it's only $150.
Yeah, I think they probably realized that wasn't a good lot.
I was like, man, and overcharging. Yeah, but I'll be in green lot.
Yeah, I think we will too. Depends on how many.
Oh, and for anyone listening, forgive my coughing. I got mad cooties from Houston last week when I was there, and I'm still getting over a respiratory thing. So
mad cooties. You are a nurse practitioner. Is that a medical term?
I mean, do you want me to actually describe it?
No, that's okay. That's okay.
Upper respiratory.
Let's talk about. Okay,
should we roll with that?
So let's get back on topic here a little bit. So you decided to go to Miami, and then I know you'd mentioned before on one of our shows that you played basketball in high school, right? So you were like automatically going to be like a big hoops fan. Is that?
Yeah, I played basketball pretty much like from like the age of like 7 or 8 on through high school.
Okay.
So
just like from day one, you're on campus. You're like, I'm going to all these games. They're right there, that kind of thing, or?
Yeah, and I the crew that I met going to basketball games, I'm still friends with a lot of them. So and some of the guys that you met.
Yeah, I think I met some of them.
When we were in Houston, I had season tickets with for years after we all graduated. So.
Yeah, I had so different because I know we're only a few years apart, but like the arena wasn't there yet when I went there.
Yeah, my freshman year, I think, was the year that when I started, it was the Convocation Center, and then it became the Bank United Center.
Yeah, I
think for years we called it the Buck, and now it's the Watsco Center.
Yeah, I think it opened my senior year. But like before that, we were going. You had to like take the metro down to Miami Arena. Yeah, so it was just completely like, do I really want to go down there?
That's it. My freshman year was the year we joined the ACC.
Oh, that's right. So you never actually experienced Perry Clark then.
Nope.
So consider yourself
luckily for me, I did not have to experience.
Yeah, I saw the disintegration of this program. That's what I ended up seeing. Because we had Leonard Hamilton had us in the Sweet 16, then left, and then I saw Perry Clark just implode the program. So
Perry Clark basically did what Larry Coker did to our football program.
Yeah, but he won first, so at least there's something there. Perry Clark.
Yeah, but he won. Larry Coker won with all of Butch Davis's recruit. He won with a team that should have won the year before.
Yeah, but at least he did that because, I mean, this is ancient history now, but that recruiting class that Perry Clark inherited was top 5 in the country.
Oh, I did not know that.
And he ruined it. They made the tournament one year just off of pure talent and got smoked by Missouri in the first game. But yeah, no, the team with Darius Rice was like one of the highest touted recruits in the country. And then there were several players on the team that were top 10 recruits. And he got handed a loaded cupboard.
Well,
anyway, yeah, Haith, I guess the difference is Haith didn't inherit. He inherited a mess and it kind of kept it that way.
Not really. Look what Larinaga did with like all of his recruits in 2013.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean more from just like a performance standpoint. It was kind of like flatlined.
Yeah.
All right, so as we we are going to definitely talk some actual on the court stuff, but so you've hinted at a story, and I've heard you tell it to me, but you know, so you've been ejected from a Miami Hurricanes game. So what you tell our audience about that to kind of wrap up this introduction to Melissa section?
So what you have to understand is that I was still a student. So, I was like 20. Yeah, I was 20, 21 maybe. I don't know. It was my senior year. And back in the day, we did not have a lot of students that came to basketball games. So my senior year was 2008. We were playing UNC. Tyler Hansborough was there at the time. And my friend Dan, who was wearing the hot dog suit at that time, because at that point, we had a tradition where we always had a student wearing a hot dog suit.
I remember the hot dog suit.
And then my friend Paul, who actually had already graduated, but he was still sitting with us because everyone else was like a year younger. So we always just had him, saved him a seat. So we always sat in the corner right where the players came out, like in the front row. And for the UNC game, we were kind of already annoyed because they were directing us where to sit when we walked in. And we always had the same group of people around us that we'd have some of us in the front and some of us behind us and whatever. And they were directing us where to sit. And so half of our friends were like on the other side of the student section. And so it was like 3 of us and then like all these freshmen just sitting around us who probably hadn't ever even been to a game, but it was UNC. So this was during the Tim Donaghy scandal when he was under investigation for betting on games. He was a ref in the NBA. So my friend Dan pulls out some dollar bills because they were making such horrible calls against us. And we start waving.
So
yeah, Sean Hall. His name was Sean Hall. We still remember the name. Later in years later, he got fired and we had a little celebration on social media. But anyway, he pulls out some dollar bills. I'm waving my credit card. My friend Paul's waving some dollar bills. A few people around us are doing it. And at one point in the second half, I think we were like down 8 or 10. Sean Hall walks over to the scorer's table and just points in our general vicinity. And I look at my friend, I'm like, are we getting in trouble? And he's like, nah, they'll probably just come give us a warning. No big deal. And then half of security shows up like 5 minutes later. And when I say half of security, I'm telling you at least like 8 or 9, 10 people show up in front of the student section. They're like, who was waving money? And like the freshmen around us are looking around like.
They didn't rat you out, did they?
No, they're just looking around. And so the 3 of us took blame for it. And so they're like, we're going to have to ask you to leave. And like some of them knew us because like we're all seniors or graduated already. So like they know us by name. And so they're escorting us out. One of my friends who was still there yells, free the hot dog. So as we're leaving, I asked one of the security like advisors or leaders or whatever. I forgot. I think her name was Connie. Super nice lady. I was like, are we like banned now? Like, are we allowed to come back? She's like, no, it's fine. It's just for this game. So we leave. I'm so wired from it. I'm up till like 2 a.m. Meanwhile, I had to be at clinicals the next morning at 7 a.m. So I was like dead tired. So we go back I think we played Clemson that weekend. And we're waiting in line outside the game to get in.
Right.
And Haith actually comes out and was talking to us. And he's like, I heard what happened. Please leave the refs to me. We need you guys at the game. And I had made a sign about getting ejected from the game. And they asked me not to hold it up.
Oh.
But me being my immature college student self wanted to get it on the jumbo screen.
Yeah.
So it ends up it pans to me. And then they come over later. Connie's like, we got to take this from you. So she takes it from me. And as I'm leaving the game later on, she gives it back to me. And she's like, if I never see this again, you can have it back. And I still have it. It's in my
That's
box.
awesome. You still have it. It's awesome.
I should have actually, you had told me you were going to ask me about this. I should have pulled it out. Cause it was like, I made it like the MasterCard commercial. It was like student ticket, like pizza, blah, 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 getting thrown out of a game, priceless, whatever. I don't know why I wasn't allowed to hold it up, but apparently.
See, look, you already have fans on our show. Hey, Anthony.
Between me, you, and the show retweeting that we were going to have the show, hopefully a few people show up.
Yeah, and we'll get a lot of rewatch. 5 o'clock's a little bit, I think, earlier, but that's fine. It's all recorded, so be on your best behavior.
People are going to come in here and be like, "Hoodie girl's not wearing a hoodie," but I am not wearing a hoodie because I'm in protest and I'm still waiting for Adidas to release this in a hoodie form. These are the best jerseys that we've ever had in Miami basketball history. And the fact that I can only find it in an oversized men long sleeve is very annoying. Adidas, release this in a hoodie.
Yeah, and also it's really hot in Miami. It's probably not hoodie weather, but
He's here more for a hoodie girl than anything else. He obviously doesn't know you very well, Vish.
Anthony has been commenting on our 6 Ring Cage show for like more than a year. He knows exactly who I am. The hell, man! I feel like I got sold out like already. I think you a co-host.
He's trying to suck up to the new co-host. That's all.
I mean, it's not even. It's been barely 15 minutes, Anthony. You just already just threw me out there.
They just wanted to hear the getting thrown out of a basketball game story. But shout out to Dan and Paul. If you guys ever watch this, I always shout them out because those are my boys that I got kicked out with. So.
Oh, while we're mentioning Hoodie Gore, you should do your ritual. We gotta shout out Coach Coop, right?
Oh, I always shout out Coach Coop. That's why I always rock the Coach Coop armband. What's up? He gave me my nickname, so always represent Coop.
Yeah, that's really cool. I hadn't heard.
Coach L. I got Coach L down here on the shirt. There we go.
Man, that's an older
the original Hurricane Force shirt. The original, before it was Hate's Faithful, it was Hurricane Force. There we go.
The only thing the only shirt I ever caught at a game was like at Miami Arena because it was like empty, so you have a good chance there. And I was inebriated. And they threw it, and it was like the alcohol awareness club because it was like balled up, and I opened it, and I'm like, "Well, that is a."
You can imagine.
That's a hell of a shirt.
You can imagine what would have happened at that UNC game had they been selling alcohol at the Buck at that time. Yeah. Up until was it last year? Now they're selling alcohol there, but before that they weren't.
Yeah, because we were at Miami Arena, it wasn't on campus, so people hammered at
my time. It was probably good that they weren't selling alcohol at that time.
Yeah.
So, but I will say that me getting kicked out of the game ended in some cool stuff because me and my friend Dan got gifts on senior night with the rest of the team, and we got to stay after and take pictures on the court and tour the men's facility. Those pictures on the court, unfortunately, I no longer have because my friend who had them, who had posted them on Facebook, has deleted her profile since. So I lost all of them except one picture of me and Coach Haight that my friend posted.
Does she not have the I mean, you can't.
I have no idea. Remember, this was in 2008.
Wait, what is this? Did you see our?
Oh yeah, the Golden Blue dude passed away. I think last week.
Why is this guy our rival? I'm confused.
He's not a rival. He's a fellow YouTube. He's a fellow YouTube fam.
Well, I mean,
it's super sad that dude posted some great content and was very passionate about his team. So it's a big loss for the YouTube community in general. I didn't really know a lot about him until I heard about him.
I mean, I don't know him at all. So
yeah, I heard about his passing, so I looked him up. Is that like a Big East thing?
Oh, I guess so. Yeah, man, because I've aged myself so much. Yes, I was in the Big East days. That's cool though that Haight came out and talked to you about it.
Yeah,
not all bad.
I mean, I was actually when he left, I was kind of sad because he knew me so well. But we needed to move on. He just took an assistant job at Texas.
Yeah, after he had actually, we got him from Texas. He was Rick Barnes' assistant there.
Yeah, he went from here to
Missouri,
then
Tulsa,
and then he's been an assistant at Memphis.
Yep.
And now he's going back to Texas.
Yeah, Missouri kind of saved our basketball program.
I have a Hate's Faithful shirt on here somewhere. I think it's on the other side though.
Yeah, the only time I ever met him, this is a sidetrack a little bit, but actually, so my brother, my whole family went to Miami, but he did law school and business school at Duke. And so when Miami played there, this is after. This is like 2000. This is the year the only year that Haight made the NCAA tournament. I think it was like 2007 or 8. So I was actually at Carnegie Mellon at the time, so I was in Pittsburgh. And I was like, we got to go to this game. So because it's Miami, it's not like it's not that much of an in-demand ticket. So we got student tickets. And so I flew down there.
Pittsburgh's got good food.
Yeah, it's all right.
They put fries on everything.
Well, they put fries in the sandwich for Monty Brothers. But anyway.
I went to see Pitt play. I went to see Miami play Pitt in 2019. So
that's right. That's your last road win, I believe. If we've discussed.
That's my only road win. That's the only road win I've ever seen.
Well, I just went.
At this point, I've pretty much been banned from road and neutral site games.
I just went 0 for 2 this weekend, so that wasn't good. But
well, the second loss was my fault. I kind of like
you guilted me into going there. I knew that was.
I told you, I was like, you better go. That was gonna be.
No, but I'm glad I went anyway. It's good to support the kids. But anyway, so we sat in the Duke student section with Miami stuff on, because we're Miami people. I don't give a crap. So anyway, we played okay, but we lost. And then when I was flying back to Pittsburgh, I go to the airport and I ran into the entire basketball team because they were flying back to Miami. So I talked to the whole team, said hi to them. I had a 5-minute conversation with James Dews. There's a throwback name for you.
James Dews. Wow.
So anyway, that was the only time I met Frank.
That is a throwback name for sure.
There you go. It's hard to remember. That was when Jimmy Graham was a power forward.
I sat next to Jimmy Graham on the Hurricane going to class one day, and it took me a whole 10 minutes to actually say something to him. And then I finally said hello and told him, like, hey, great game last week. See you at the next game. And he said thank you as he was getting up and smiled. So that is my claim to fame with Jimmy Graham.
Yeah, well, there you go. So the answer
cheapest tickets at sporting events, women's basketball.
Women's basketball is $5.
And they deserve way more support than they get because Katie Meyer is doing amazing things with that program. So please go out and support them. I'm actually getting season tickets next year.
Not only are my co-host, you're a pro already, because that's a great transition into us talking about women's hoops now. But yeah, no, women's basketball is the best deal on campus.
Yeah, women, and that team is going to be so fun to watch. We've lost.
I might buy a ticket with you just to and you can just give it to someone or whatever.
Honestly, I plan on going to a few games, so I'm probably just going to get season tickets because I think you can get season tickets for like $50.
Yeah, I'll get one with you maybe, and then you can just give it away when I'm.
I think it's just general admission. I don't think you actually buy a seat.
Well, whatever, you can do something with it. Then if I go,
look at Bernard wasn't the only one that got sick, got cooties after Houston.
Hospital.
Wow.
Yikes!
This is what's keeping me going right now, and that's why I like.
we gotta support the man. It's you got sacrifice in this life, so.
Anthony, I agree.
Yeah.
I think UM would benefit greatly from a softball team, but I think there's a whole rule with having there has to be an even amount of scholarships with men's and women's or something.
Yeah, it's the Title IX thing.
Yeah.
And so that's why we don't
have to ditch a program in order to get that.
I don't. We maybe have to add another one. We don't have a men's soccer team either, for example. We only have a women's one. I think it's more just money, to be honest. But also, baseball is a little. I mean, softball's a little tougher one because you need to build a field because you can't play on the baseball field. It's completely different. So you'd have to build
more
something
things
out.
That Coral Gables would have to approve.
Yeah, you have to kind of build something out for that because they can't play on the baseball field. So
yeah.
All right. Well, we kind of started to actually. You know what? I'm going to be professional and read this ad read. So this is what we're going to do now. After I forgot the last 2 nights. So check out our sponsor. Let me see if I can pull this up. It's happening. It's going to happen this time. I forgot the last 2 weeks. But check out our sponsor, Prize Picks. This is actually the updated website. Half of these people aren't playing right now, but it's pretty simple. You pick 2 to 5 players. You bet over-unders on their stats based on the lines that Prize Picks gives you. Based on how many you select, you have a chance to win more money off of that. And we're running an offer right now. If you use the offer code 5, FIVE, which is scrolling across the bottom as well, when you sign up, Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. So yeah, if you're interested in doing that, go to prizepicks.com, sign up with the offer code 5, FIVE, and win some money potentially. All right, look at that. Got an ad read and everything. All right, let's talk women's hoops. So I guess it was, not the greatest day, although I think it was kind of hinted at yesterday this was coming, but I'll just I'm
sad.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'll just say what happened and then we can talk through, and we got some questions on women's basketball in the chat too that we'll get to as well. But yeah, so the Cavender twins kind of announced that they're basically done with basketball, I think is basically the announcement.
Yeah. But I will say I had some hope because Haley had said she wanted to come back, but they're kind of Haley and Hannah as a set as a duo are worth more together, and so them separating with Hannah wanting to leave and Haley wanting to stay, just for them and their brand didn't make sense. So at the end of the day, they announced that they are done with college basketball and they're going to move on to new endeavors, unfortunately.
Yeah, and that was always a possibility, but like you said, when Haley said she was coming back,
yeah,
it is kind of an odd decision, I will say, just because I don't think Hannah wanted to play anymore. I think is kind of what drove it, based on what Haley said. Because she was like, I love to hoop, and I was just going to play another year. But Hannah kind of wants to move on. And like you said,
they have their branding as twins, so
right. But it is kind of, the reason I say it's kind of an odd decision is, there's no coming back for this. And I feel like their branding opportunities would have been there next year. So
they have a lot already. I mean, they're signed with WWE.
Yeah, and I feel like that would have, after next year would have been there too. It wouldn't have really been, any real different. So I guess they decided to move on now, which you gotta respect. They're gonna make a lot more money doing that than they would in basketball. So
I think with them leaving, and then Destiny Harden got drafted in the WNBA.
I know. I was on our show last night when it happened, and apparently I didn't. This was subconscious because Blue was talking about, I think, recruiting or something. And I was like, let me see what's going on Twitter. And I looked and saw she got drafted. I happened to just refresh my screen when it happened. Apparently, I was waving my arms around and doing something. Because the Jazz in the private chat was like, Fish, what happened? I'm like,
are you having a seizure? What's going on?
Something. And I was like, oh, that must be hard. And actually, I posted a clip and Katie Meyer liked it. So thumbs up for us of me reacting to that. So, yeah.
She got drafted by the Phoenix Mercury.
Yeah.
Good stuff. And I mean, their draft is not big. I think it's 30 players?
Well, I think they go, I don't know how, they go, I think 3 rounds, I want to say.
It's 3 rounds.
But it's short. Yeah, but there's
number 27. So I don't think there was that many after.
Yeah, no, because there's not as many teams. So the rounds are shorter. Yeah, but that was awesome.
I think the question is Pendande staying? I know she was a senior.
Well, she has a year left.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's a couple of things here, right? So, and we'll answer Anthony's question too. So in terms of starters, we've lost 2 for sure, which is Destiny Harden and Haley.
And Destiny, yeah.
And then
there you go, Edward. 3 rounds, 12 picture rounds.
Look at Clemson Edward jumping right
close.
in.
I was close. I said 35.
Yeah. Look at that, man. We have to reach out to Clemson to get informed here. This isn't acceptable. We got to do better next time. But so Haley and Destiny are definitely gone. Lola can. I didn't even know this. Is this accurate?
I did not know that.
We'll have to do some research.
All right, Bernard.
We have to do some. Maybe I'll buy a men's ticket then instead. All right.
Well, I'm buying men's tickets. I was gonna get both. So
the thing is, it's so hard to travel for those, on the weekdays and stuff. But
that's my problem too, because I work nights.
That's true.
But I said, I just feel empty not having them the last few years. So I'm just gonna get
them.
Yeah,
I mean, I think if I get them with you, you can just give them away when you're giving yours away if you're not going. So.
Oh yeah, because me and one of my friends is gonna get. So you should just get the 3rd seat with us.
Yeah.
And that way the 3 of us will have, and then yeah, for sure.
I'm trying to support
that would work,
the program.
Actually. Yeah.
But so those 2 are definitely gone. And then, like you said, Lola's a big question. She technically has a year left because she's played 4 years, but she had the COVID year doesn't count. Mm-hmm. So she could technically.
My assumption, and you know what happens when you assume, is that she didn't declare for the WNBA draft. She's already a starter, so I don't see that she would transfer.
Yeah, I don't think she will transfer. My concern with her is she is from Spain. European leagues pay quite a bit of money. There. She could go home and play. So that's the only thing. I think that would be because I don't know that she would have gotten drafted anyway. She didn't have the best year. A lot of it was injury. She got hit in the face early in the year, and I don't think she was comfortable.
She would be a big keep for us.
Oh yeah, no. And by the end of the year, she was back to like 2 years ago. She was so good, and I think she was struggling with the face mask this year. And once she got rid of it, you could see the old Lola come back. By the tournament, she was kicking people's butt again.
Well, you keep her, and then Roberts, who just blossomed in the tournament, and Jalea. You got 3 right there that played a significant role.
Yeah,
on our squad.
And Lachey is there also. So
yeah,
off the bench. And then so the issue though, and then you've got 3 bigs that well, Latasha Lattimore got injured early in the year. She was actually playing quite a bit. She should be back. And then we have 2 McDonald's All-Americans in the fate.
I mean,
freshmen.
the women's team has something the men's team doesn't, and that's size.
Yeah, a lot of size, especially if Lola comes back. You run 4 bigs out there. So,
did you see Katie Meyer's recent press conference?
Yep.
She was talking about, who was she talking about that wanted to play the wing more? I'm having a brain fart on her name. She came off the bench for us. I'm having a brain fart.
Who would come off the bench for us that would play the wing?
She's a big, but she wanted to play the wing more.
It's got to be Lazaria, probably. She's the one that's athletic enough to play out there. Spearman?
I can picture what Spearman, thank you.
Okay, yeah.
I was like, I could picture what she looks like in my head, and I couldn't remember her name for
no problem. I'm way too familiar with the women's team and just like saying their nicknames and their first was like, who the hell is this guy talking about? Anyway.
I couldn't remember her name. I was just like,
she's athletic, she's mobile,
and honestly, I was gonna do some more research into some recruiting for the men's team before our show today, but like I had to work last night, so like I just did not have time to do anything today.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I should, use full names.
I had my usual off day meal. I'm gonna get them to sponsor me one day.
I mean, I'm sure there's a Chick-fil-A hoodie we can work something. Although we tried this already. This would not be our first foray into fast food because in one of our weekly shows, Jazz went through a Taco Bell drive-thru and we tried to parlay that into a sponsorship. It didn't take, but yeah. So I think Spearman can definitely play on the wing. She's really athletic. She unfortunately got injured.
Does she have a shot? Can she shoot the 3?
Not yet, but I think she can develop it. There's no reason. She has a good stroke on the mid-range, but so she started off slow. Just get the spacing. She started off slow, and then she started really coming on. Then she got injured against Syracuse. I felt so bad for her because she got subbed into that Villanova game. Hadn't really played a lot since she was injured a month before, and she
came off cold.
She had a bit of a moment there. She was the one who inbounded the ball straight to them for a layup. It's just a true freshman. That's in that moment probably not the time.
Yeah, but that's valuable minutes. Let her.
Yeah, and same thing. I think
learn from them.
And I think same thing with Kyla Oldiker. She got better as the year went on, and I think within the off season she's going to be. So I think we're going to have to play the post.
I mean, it depends who we bring in, but I think we have some really good pieces, and I think Roberts is only going to get better. She's going to be our star for us next year. I'm just saying it right now. Was it big time players show up for big time games? What's that quote?
Yeah.
For her to show up, like she did in the tournament.
Well,
I think. And she's only a sophomore?
Yeah, she's going to be a junior next year.
Yeah, come on, man.
And I will say, her year 1 to year 2 jump was massive. She was basically, we tried to buy a couple of minutes with her as a freshman, but we couldn't really keep her on the court. I mean, we had other players there because we had Kelsey Marshall and stuff taking a lot of those minutes, but she was so much better this year. I was like, is that even the same person? What is happening? Yeah. And so if she can make any kind of improvement, I mean, if she comes back exactly the way she played this year, that's awesome.
No, she'll be better.
But she's going to improve.
Katie Meyer's a G.
Yeah.
Katie Meyer's a G, and she's going to develop so much more.
Yeah, this is definitely
our men's and women's basketball coaches are I don't think you can argue. I mean, we have one of the best duos when it comes to basketball coaches in the country for men's and women's.
Yeah, and that's why I was
evidenced by both teams making the Elite Eight.
I mean, that was my actual biggest freak out over that whole month was when they beat Indiana. Just because I felt so happy for Coach
when Haley
Meyer.
shushed the crowd. Oh my God. When she shushed the crowd, I was like, oh snap. Actually, I said a different S word, but I won't say that.
Well, don't worry. You're not gonna trump Destiny on that one. So
and then I think we said it when I was on the pod the last time when they made that 3 and I was like, but then Destiny just with ice in her veins hit that. But when Haley hit that, when she shushed the crowd, man, that might be my favorite moment from the entire year.
Yeah. For me, it was just obviously I'm close with Coach Meyer and she's, never gotten past that round, even though, like you said, she's one of the best coaches in college basketball. It's just kind of a weird anomaly, just some weird stuff has happened when we've been in positions and just I was like so happy and relieved for her. That was like the one that really.
And we were so close to that Final Four, man.
I know.
We held LSU. We played so well defensively. If we could have just had a better shooting night.
Yeah, well, speaking of which, because going back to next year's team, like my biggest concern is we don't have any shooting. We've lost our 3 best jump shooters, both the Cavender twins and Carla. So like those are the ones that stretch the floor. We got to get some shooting from the portal, I think.
I don't. Do we have any recruits coming in from out of high school?
I'm not gonna lie. Women's.
I don't really follow a lot of high school recruiting.
So neither do I. But I searched.
Can we get Haley Van Lith?
I mean, that's where I was going. You can plug her right in next to Jalea, and it's like perfect. Jasmine's
right?
at the 3.
I mean, she got a year of eligibility. Come on.
With
what are the chances?
Like, give her all the money. Yeah, give her all the money.
What are the chances?
I mean she would fit in right next to Jalea. I know it's not gonna happen. We would probably make the Final Four. I don't think it's gonna happen, but because one other thing you mentioned, K-Meyer team, we always play defense, and if you have someone like Haley Van Lith on this team, then like there comes the offense.
Yeah, I mean the defense is shown by what we held LSU to. It's just we couldn't make a shot that game.
Yeah.
Really sad to imagine. We were a half away from having both of our teams in the Final Four, and me and you having to drive to Dallas.
I mean, I would have gladly made that trip. That was just like weird for me because I was at the men's game, so we went to a bar afterwards, and like people were like celebrating and all happy, and I'm like watching like that whole second half. Like Lola got injured, then Lachey got injured, then Destiny got injured, and I'm like I was crushed for them. And then people are like, "Hey, can I take a picture with you and stuff?" I'm like, "All right."
I haven't had anybody come up to me and ask me to do that yet. I'm waiting for that moment where someone comes up to me and be like, "Yo, you're hoodie girl. Can I get a picture?" Like,
it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. It was egregious at the Final Four. I must have been recognized like a dozen times.
You're famous, Vish.
I don't think so. Definitely not.
Enough for people to want to take pics.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess we sort of took a picture together. We realized we forgot to like the first night, but
we never did.
Well, sort of. We got the group picture at the barbecue,
and you're sitting next to me.
Yeah.
But we never got like an official.
Actually, we gotta like get the high res on that. Is it on your phone or is that on Nate's?
I have a copy of it. It was texted.
Well, the reason we gotta get the high.
I think it was taken with Nate's Annie.
Okay. Because we got to get the high res. Because actually, you're sitting next to me, and then Matt's on the other side of me. We can like snip that out, and that's our basketball coverage.
There you go, right there.
But that's why you got to get a better resolution.
I'm barely smiling because I have like mac and cheese in my mouth, and I wanted to make sure it wasn't like in my teeth. So I kind of just
we're all doing the U, so that's all that matters.
Yeah. Got my Canes hoop shirt on.
But anyway, I do think we need shooting.
Oh, should we answer Anthony's question?
Yeah.
Our favorite.
Well, let's do this.
Players for men's and women's.
I think that'll be a good transition when you start talking about men's.
Losing any of our veterans. Well, we kind of talked about it.
We talked about that, but I guess so. I actually mentioned recruiting, so I also don't really frankly, across the sports, recruiting is like the thing I follow the least. But I looked high and low to see if we had any commit. I guess I could just ask Coach, but I looked to see if I couldn't find anything, so I'm assuming no on the high school.
Yeah. But I mean, we pretty much said what we need to do is we need to get shooters.
We need to get in the portal.
Assuming Pendande is coming back, which I hope she does.
But I guess even if she isn't, we still have 3 bigs. I'm assuming Latasha is going to be fine and like going to be able to play this.
Yeah.
So
we lost shooters. So
yeah, we don't have any shooters.
But like Roberts, I think.
I think she's good, but
work on in the offseason, it's going to be her shot.
Well, I think she's already pretty good.
Is she a 2 or a 3?
She played the 3 this year because we started Jalea and Haley. She can also potentially play the 2. The problem with Roberts is, I mean, she actually can shoot the 3. It's fine. It's just she's also going to be the one having to create a lot of the offense. So you need the spot up shooting.
Yeah,
that's kind of what we lost.
She kind of can do a little bit of everything, but it's like you got to play the role that you're needed. Kind of like Jordan Miller was saying in his press conference thing about what NBA scouts are telling him that he needs to shoot the 3, and he's like, I can. But he was like, in the offense we were running, I needed to be more of the rebounder and down low, so he didn't take as many of those shots. But he's looking forward to showing them that he can stretch the floor. So
yeah,
if Jordan Miller gets drafted, I I will shed another tear.
Look, man, can you wait till we answer Anthony's question? Because I think we're going that direction already. Let's finish with the women first. I told you I was trying to cut this into multiple podcasts, so we got to stay on one topic.
Jordan Miller is one of my favorite men's basketball players of all time for the Canes. But if you want me to name my favorite all time, it'd probably be Jack McClinton.
See, I think it's always the ones you went to school with. Because he overlapped with you, right?
It's.
Did he? Wait, did he not? Did I just like make something up that wasn't true?
I'm not. I can't.
Wait, when you graduated?
It's all a blur.
Wait, when you? 08. That was the year I think that Haith made the NCAA tournament.
I think we lost in the round of 32. That's when we had
to
Ray
Texas.
Hicks.
Yeah, we lost. Yeah, when all of a sudden he became like. At the end of that game, he just started dropping threes on them. Like, what the hell?
We almost came back and beat Texas.
I know that.
Yeah.
DJ Augustine airballed a free throw. I remember too much of this stuff.
To me, the basketball team it's divided into like eras. Like
no,
you have like your Haith years with like Jack McClinton. I love Jimmy Graham. But then like on that 2013 team, I loved Trey McKinney-Jones. Like, first of all, he wore my number. 4 is my number when I was playing basketball in high school. But I always gravitate to the 3-point shooters because that's what I did when I played. So, sorry, I can't give you one answer for that. But yeah. Jordan Miller now off that team, he was so special and so undervalued. I mean, obviously, Canes fans know how valuable he was, but to the outside, so I really hope he gets a shot on an NBA team. For the women,
he will. I think he will.
For the women, I don't know. Who would be your favorite?
Well, I for the men, I don't even know that I mean, I could name people you probably haven't heard of from like when I was in school. Actually,
Guillermo Diaz.
I remember Guillermo Diaz. My ex-girlfriend went to high school with him. That's my understood Guillermo Diaz. Him and Robert Height were in the backcourt together.
Height.
But I predate that. Like I'm talking.
We had a chant for him. I forget what it was. There was like a whole thing we used to. It was like a poem almost.
That was after I was there, so I don't know. Actually, so this is interesting. My freshman year, so the best player on the team was this guy named Johnny Hemsley, who we've honored. You might have seen him at a game because we've like honored him before, but he was. Mm-hmm. But he wasn't the best. The actual best pro on that team was John Salmons, who played in the NBA for a long time. But then the most successful overall, because James Jones was on that team, and he like runs the Suns now. So
yeah, he's like the general manager.
So they were all on the same team. But yeah, that team went to the Sweet 16, and then it kind of imploded from there. But you're right, there's kind of like eras, because that was an era. Because actually, the year before I got there, actually the person whose jersey was retired is Tim James. So if you look up in the rafters, you'll see his jersey there. He left the year before I got there, and that team was actually better, but blew it in the tournament.
Yeah.
And then
Anthony, I agree with you, Anthony, on his last thing about
Cavender
doing other things instead of going to the WNBA.
Yeah, no, they're definitely not playing basketball anymore. If they were going to play basketball, they would have stayed. And then the Perry Clark years, I've kind of just blacked out.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had some fun teams under Haith, even though they weren't necessarily good. Because you're right, we had the Guillermo Diaz, Robert Height team, and then the McClinton team. And then we were really bad that he went to Missouri. Like there was a gap there where
we had some players that were there for a while though. Like was it Dwayne Collins,
Anthony
Adrian
King.
Thomas, Anthony King. Who else?
I feel like Adrian Thomas was there forever.
Was it Eddie Diaz?
Eddie Rios was there for like a
Eddie
year.
Rios.
For a year. He ended up getting arrested.
He ended up getting arrested. I'm trying to remember who else were on some of these teams.
He was like the biggest recruit we had gotten in like years.
One of my friends who I went to games with for years, Randy, used to paint his chest and put the 5 on it, like repping him.
Was he even here that long?
A couple years, I think. Good choices, Anthony.
Yeah, good choices. I mean,
I have the Shane Larkin bobblehead. Here, I'll show you. I have the Shane Larkin bobblehead.
Wow, it's still very much looks new.
Well, it sits on my little counter thing over there. But I don't remember what game I got this at. Actually, I don't even think I got it. My friend Nate actually got it when he went to a game and I couldn't go to and picked me up one. So it still works. He bobbles.
Yeah, but you're right. There's been like distinct breaks almost because there was that team, then there was after that it was like the Angel Rodriguez, Sheldon McClellan team, and then
Yes. That was the year, one of the years where Angel Rodriguez hit a 3 to beat Florida in Gainesville.
Oh no, I remember that.
I was at work following it on my phone and being super excited. That was a Sweet 16 team also.
Yeah, that team just, I mean, that Villanova
I
team
have that
beat
T-shirt,
them was
obviously.
so good. Well, apparently. Do
You
you have the
should
shirt
keep a
or is it in the blanket behind you?
No, the only one that's in the blanket behind me is the regular season shirt that they gave out at the game where we clinched, and then I have one Sweet 16 shirt. No, I didn't include any like ones that I only had like one of. Like I only had
I'm
one.
still
Sweet
waiting
16
for my
shirt from that
Final
year.
Four stuff to show up, so I got the Elite Eight
I'm
from
still-
last year.
I'm still waiting on one more the stuff from Fanatics, basically. I'm waiting on a Final Four shirt and the hat that I got off of Fanatics, but I bought the Adidas
I
one.
just got a like delayed delivery thing today.
Yeah, the shirt is finally like on its way. The hat, I really wish I could just cancel it and order it off Adidas, but they didn't release it. Like they released it days later on Adidas, so I was worried it was going to sell out. So I'm still waiting for it. But we could do a whole show on the merch I've had for.
That actually might be a good off-season show, but well, kind of in off-season, but we're still in the wake.
It's literally right off camera on a chair. I have a stack of it because I was showing it to my friends the other night.
Well, there you go. Leave it.
No, I didn't put those on a blanket because I'm waiting. I'm gonna hopefully build up a lot of them over the next few years and make that its own separate.
Oh, just like a championship blanket or something.
Like this shirt or whatever. I have like another ACC regular season shirt, so I cut this one up and then because it's hard. Like so, when I got this blanket made, you have to pre-cut them when you send it, and so it was hard. Like because like this one is where is it? This one right here is the Senior Walk Orange Bowl shirt from the last year in the Orange Bowl because my last year as a undergrad was our last year in the Orange Bowl, and so I have both the front and the back on this, and it was very hard cutting that shirt up. But it's just like it's just gonna sit in my closet. So
see, I'm glad I'm talking to you because you're like much closer to the time I went to school. I talk to some of these kids nowadays; they don't know anything.
You graduated when?
Well, 03 undergrad, 05 grad school.
So you graduated the year before I started in 04.
Yeah, but at least like the campus probably looked pretty much the same.
I lived in the towers.
Completely unrelated to what it looks like right now. It's like totally.
Yeah, I lived in the
place.
towers for 2 years.
Yeah.
And then Eaton, and then my senior year was the first year of the University Village, so I got to live there for a year.
Oh yeah, that's where we diverge. I lived in campus apartments, but they were not like that.
Yeah.
I lived in like the closest to the at the time convocation center that they didn't tear down. So it was like
the apartment area.
Yeah, because they tore down a bunch of them to build the arena. Like by the time you got there, it was already gone. But like they didn't tear everything down.
So for anyone who's that didn't go to UM, the apartment area was a bunch of apartments that were probably built in like the Stone Age, and they were so unsafe. They were so unsafe that for any hurricane or tropical storm, you had to evacuate them.
Yeah, I mean, my parents live like 15 minutes from campus.
Yeah, but like they were like I was inside one once, one of the apartments, and I was just like, why would you want to live here? It just looked gross.
So I had two choices. I could either live at home with my parents or live there because so I went there.
Yeah, I understand.
I mean, when your parents, like my dad was like a professor on campus, like my whole family right there.
Well, it's a lot harder to get on campus living now because until they're done building like Centennial Village, it's like a lottery.
Oh, so, I have no idea what the housing situation is now. But
well, no, because they're knocking down the towers and because like they opened up Lakeside Village, which is where like a lot of the athletes live. So I think a lot of the freshmen live in Mahoney Pearson.
That's where I
live.
Live in the towers. Actually,
they're eventually going to knock down all the towers. I know they already knocked down Hecht, and they have like released the plans. It's going to be called Centennial Village. It's going to be like a whole other dorm complex. But like as of now, until that's built, like I know there's not enough housing for all students.
Yeah, no, I never actually lived in the towers. I was Mahoney, then Pearson, then campus apartments.
I lived in towers, Stanford for 2 years, Eaton, and then UV.
Eaton's still there. It looks they facelifted the outside. It looks different.
Eaton will forever be my favorite. I actually have an Eaton shirt on here somewhere because it was like the anniversary of it my junior year, so we all got shirts. But Eaton, the one thing on this blanket that I wish I had on here was a Sports Fest shirt, but all of my Sports Fest colors weren't orange or green, and like I didn't want to put like a bright blue T-shirt on there. So like Sports Fest, I don't know if it was Sports Fest at UM was the best. It's basically like a whole weekend of different sporting events between the residential colleges. And then like within each floor, like there's teams or whatever, and like you name like your team's stupid stuff and you have shirts. So like all of my shirts for each year were like are random colors. So I was like, I'm not putting a bright blue shirt on everything that's orange and green. So I didn't put it on there, but
it would have definitely ruined the blanket if you had gone there.
What makes me even more mad is the year after I graduated, the Sports Fest team that I was on the year before UV ended up winning, and that team took like first. And I was like, dang it. I was so into Sports Fest every year. And right after I leave, the team I was on wins it. I was like, But that was the best part about living on campus. Have you experienced a super regional game for the College World Series? I have. In 2015, we hosted super regionals and we played VCU, and I actually went to both of those games. And I still actually have the video of us clinching and going to Omaha. There's actually, my friend sent me a photo. I'll send it to you sometime. I think I still have it. The second game, it was super sunny out, and I didn't bring a hat, and I was like, I could feel myself getting burnt even though I had put sunscreen on. So like one of the rally towels, I ended up like putting it on my head and then putting my sunglasses on over the towel so that it would stay. And so my friend showed me like a screen cap from TV because they showed me in the crowd. And so for the longest time, that was my social media photo because it was just hilarious. It's just me with this towel on my head with my sunglasses going over it to keep it on. But yeah, super regionals are great, especially when they're at Miami, because if you haven't been to a Canes baseball game, the milkshake stand there is the best thing ever.
Yeah,
and now you can order from your seat.
Yeah, you can order it off there's an app, so you don't
because
have to
it used to be you would have to get in line, and it would
I did that last year when we were playing Pitt. I waited in line for like 3 innings.
Well, what I would usually do is
the app was broken.
When I would go to a baseball game, the first thing I would do is go get a milkshake. But then like I'd be done with it by the end of the first inning, and it would be sad. But if you wait, then you have to wait like 3 innings to get it. So now you can order it from the app, and then you just go pick it up when it's ready. And it's not cash only anymore, which is nice. Because it used to be you could only pay by credit card if you ordered over a certain amount. Okay. If I'm just ordering a milkshake for myself, they wouldn't let me use a credit card. Thankfully, a lot of times my friends would have cash, but I mean,
I think my high school runs a lot of that stuff. Palmetto. I see them all wearing Palmetto shirts, so I think I think my high school is running some of that. Or
Anthony's trying to get us to talk about baseball.
Look, man, where were you last night when Jazz and I did a baseball show? Because
he said he's just here for me, though.
That's true. That's true. Although he shows up to our other shows, so.
There's plenty of Miami guys in Major League Baseball.
I mean, you'd have to do like more of an analysis because FSU and UF do put guys in there but
let's talk about men's basketball.
Yeah, let's do that. Well, actually, let's answer the second half of the question. If you have a women's player you want to name check,
you go first. I got to think of one. It's
for me, it's hard because I like know the current team so well, so it's hard for me not to say like people that I actually have like talked to, like Carla or Destiny or something. And it's just it's too much recency bias because like 5 years ago I didn't know any of the players or anything, and I knew them as players, but like okay, so that team's a little personal for me. So
Lavender just because she shushed the crowd, and I think
she definitely belonged in Miami. And actually, to close out the question again, I looked to see if we had any commits, and I didn't see anything. But they really only like list out like the top 50 players. Like, there's not a lot of coverage on women's recruiting, unfortunately. But we have traditionally done a lot of work with transfers. If you look at the team we had this year, not just the Cavenders. Carla came from Wyoming. Destiny came from West Virginia. Lola came from Utah. So I would expect us.
Meyer knows how to hit that transfer.
Yeah, I would expect us to be very active. And again, if we can get some shooting, some spot up shooting, that'll plug the gap because we're gonna have
like the opposite of what the men need.
Yeah,
we need size
pretty
for
much.
the men.
Pretty much the women's team doesn't have any commits at all. Yeah, I mean, again, I looked through that, Anthony, and I looked through their whole website, and it looked like they'd only analyzed the top 100. So I don't know if they have all of the commits in there. Like, it's not covered as much as it should be. Shout out to my man Strouser, who known from the interwebs forever. Man, outdoor codes. All right, I was not in Miami in the '80s, so I can't speak to that. But if you've been by Palmetto lately, it's like totally different. Also, like they've ripped down like the buildings on the other side of the like area there. They've kind of redid the whole thing. Anyway, all right, let's transition here and talk a little men's hoops.
Should we pause for an advertisement?
I mean, all right, everyone, go to prizepicks.com and offer code 5 and they'll match $100 up to $100 in your first deposit. All right, there we go.
So side story to that before we talk about men's hoops. When I did the show with Vish after the Final Four, he messaged me after and said that he had difficulty finding pauses to put in for advertisements on the podcast because both of us were talking so much. So it's just like our running joke now that we should pause between subject switching so that he has time to throw in an advertisement.
Yeah, and so it's pretty simple to do this, right? There's like a radio wave, so you just wait for it to flatline, and it didn't. So
yeah,
it's
so
like that's what
we had the pause. We had the pause. So now
yeah, but I think I'm going to chop this up into several shorter podcasts because we have kind of 3 different sections. But anyway, I'll fit the ads in somewhere. But yeah, let's talk a little bit of men's now. So a lot of portal stuff has happened. I think Beverly was the latest, who already committed to Wichita State.
State. I'm gonna be rooting for him, man.
Yeah,
I was excited for him this year with all the injuries he had the year before. So I just think I think I'm hoping that him leaving is a sign that Wong is staying.
Yeah, I mean that's my glass half full interpretation.
I'm hoping.
Well, I guess we should kind of recap the others that have entered the portal as well.
Yeah.
Anthony Walker, Jovanovic, I think, because that's how Matt was pronouncing his name. So I'm just gonna go with. All right, we could go with
Favor Air.
Yeah, Air. I think we'll just go with Air. So that's 4. 4. Okay, I can't count to 4. Still good. All right.
And then Jordan Miller is out
graduated.
of eligibility.
Yeah. So we got 5 potential, and then 6 if Wong goes.
And then Nwoko's coming in, so that takes up 1.
Yeah, that takes up 1. So that's kind of like your Jordan Miller swap in. You have someone leave because of eligibility, and you have someone.
Yeah.
And then the other 4. What are you thinking here? So I do think we're in a little bit of a unique situation that we've kind of struck gold with this playing small thing. I know a lot of people like after the Connecticut game are reacting like, "Oh, we need more height." I'm
not opposed to us getting more height, but it needs to be someone with more height that fits into the small ball scheme that we run, which basically means if we're going to get a center, he needs to be a stretch 4 or stretch 5. If we need to bring somebody in that's going to stretch the floor, because at the end of the day, Omir is a rebounding machine, and he's. I mean, it would help for him to develop a mid-range shot. But small ball is kind of what we do, and I don't see Larinaga moving away from that too much. If Wong leaves, we need another.
That's a whole other thing. Yeah, if Wong goes, then we don't really have a good way to create offense.
I had said it. I randomly was on another YouTube show last week, and like midstream, they're like, "Hey, come on and talk basketball." And I had said, and you'll know this reference, that we need a Kenny Kaji type guy. Because Kenny Kaji was arguably one of the greatest stretch 4s that we've had at Miami.
Yeah, that whole team is just tragic. How that imploded.
Shane Larkin got food poisoning. Yeah.
Grant Scott broke his jaw. Reggie Johnson blew his knee out.
Yeah, Kenny Kaji was a stretch 4 who could rebound. He could guard a big, but he could also run the floor and shoot the 3 at a very high level.
Right.
If he had a younger brother who was playing basketball now and could play like him, that's who I want.
I mean, he was so old that he might have a son that's eligible. He was like 25 when he was on that team.
Oh my God, that team was all like seniors and 50s.
Oh my God, they were so old.
I think Julian Gamble was a 6th-year senior. Like that's.
Yeah, I know. I remember talking to my brother about this at the time, and I'm like, man, we're so physically dominant. It's like because all of our guys are like 30, they're like grown adults, and they're playing against like 18-year-olds. That's why
we were like the better version of Drake.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
But that's what we need. I don't think we need to go for your typical center. If we can get like a Kevin Love type guy, that would be good.
Yeah,
we need a big who can stretch the floor.
Yeah, and I think the other thing, exactly what you said, is like anything that, because theoretically Norchad, I think, is actually more than capable of developing a shot. But I think anything you do that
I think
pulls
he
it,
needs to for his own like basketball future and like the pros. He needs to develop a shot because he's not going to play the 5 in the pros.
yeah, and I think he'll work on that. But I think any kind of strategy that's pulling him away from the basket is not a good thing for us. Just like, because you said, his rebounding is.
But and that's the thing, and that's why if we get a center, I think they need to be a stretch center, because if you have your typical center who's going to also be under the basket, it's just more people you're bringing down low. That's going to affect offensive rebounding and all of that.
Yeah, so. But I think if that is the best option, I think we would have Norchad more on the perimeter because he's. Well,
you also got to remember, how is AJ Casey going to develop through the summer and fall? And Nwoko is also 6'10", and he might get minutes as a freshman.
So I know we kind of disagree on that point, on how much he's gonna play. So.
He may. It depends on who
you
bring in.
I will say L split the difference between both of us, because he said kind of my view of thinking, which is I don't really rely on freshmen to. But then he also said he's already a grown man and he's kind of filled out. So so that's he kind of split the difference between our points of view there.
Yeah, listen, and honestly, like we said we need a guard, but I'm very interested to see what Christian Watson does next season.
I'm a big fan of his, and I think the whole guard position is so dependent on Long, because if he goes, you need, like, what you need to bring in there becomes a much higher hurdle.
You need more experience, like. Right. Watson's going to be good, but are we comfortable starting a true sophomore who basically didn't play at all the season before?
I don't think he's I mean, I think he could potentially. I think yes, actually, I think he could start. My issue is he can't replace Wong, right? Like,
well, I mean, not a lot of people can. He's
I get that's true, and this is like the depressing conversation Matt and I had driving back to the hotel for the Final Four. It's like, you cannot replace Jordan Miller and Isaiah Long. Like, it doesn't look like, well, maybe this guy and that guy's like, but you're not replacing those two. But no,
but here's what fans need to remember also. You're going to hear Wong declare for the NBA draft. It's going to happen regardless.
See, I don't know if I agree with that.
He's likely going to maintain his eligibility, and he's probably just want to get his feet wet to see what NBA scouts have to say about him.
See, I don't know.
Because he did it last year. He did the same thing last year.
He did do that last year, but I don't know that I agree with that, because I think everything you're saying is logical. I'm just wondering, like, I mean, like you just said, he's ACC Player of the Year, went to the Final Four. His stock, whatever it is, and I don't know what his draft stock is, it's not going to go up.
And honestly, it could go up, because the one knock that's on him is his consistency. You go look at tape, he's got one game where he shows you he's the ACC Player of the Year and award finalist and all this stuff. And then there's the games like Drake where he did absolutely nothing. And he's had games like that.
And that's
if he can show he can do that every single time, I think his stock will go a lot up if he sticks around next season.
That's a fair, I think, criticism of his game, but I think the NBA draft is so much on potential. He's not going to show any kind of new skill or anything.
But if he gets drafted in the second round, he's not making an NBA team.
Hard to say. It depends on the team and like what their roster looks like and stuff, because rookies are cheap, and if you're trying to do salary cap stuff. But I agree. I guess my point is, I don't know that he's going to be significantly higher in the draft next year versus this year. And I think a lot of his decision making is probably around, like, what is our team ceiling? Because look, you've been to the Final Four now. There's one more thing you can still do.
And what can he get from NIL?
I mean, I think that money will be there.
So
it's because if you think about it, like, he has the potential. Like, this team has gone to the Final Four. If he actually thinks, hey, the next step is possible, this person is going to go, if he actually accomplishes that, the greatest basketball player in Miami history by far. Because he would have played, I guess, 5 years, because the COVID year didn't count.
Yeah.
Here, one ACC Player of the Year, Elite Eight, Final Four, National Championship. Like, I mean, I think this is a legacy decision as much as a draft.
Oh, you're saying if he stays, we win the Natty next year? I'm saying
his thinking. Well, I'm not predicting that yet. You know, you gotta warm up to it. But I think
I see you in Phoenix next year, Vish.
I mean, we've already talked about that and how do you get to Cleveland from there when the women are in the Final Four. But
Listen, for our sakes, for our basketball fandom, I hope that happens one year where we can actually have to find the struggle to figure out the struggle.
I mean, I'll figure it out. It's doable because the games are all at night, so you got a whole day to travel in the middle. But no, I think from his reasoning, the reason to come back to me is not necessarily to improve his draft stock, which, like you said, he could do a little bit, but it's not like he's going to become a lottery pick or not based on something he does next year. But it is.
I'm telling you, he's going to declare and he's going to.
He might like you very well might be right, but I think the reason.
Why wouldn't he though? I mean, I think that's a smart way to do it.
Well, because I think the reason to come back to Miami is to win here, and I think absent that, like if we had lost to Drake, like he's gone. Like why is he going back to, in my opinion?
So you're just thinking unfinished.
Yeah, I think there's business. Well, I think the NBA obviously it matters. His draft stock matters. That's his career and his future, but he has a chance to do something else here that no one's ever done. And to me, that weighs into a lot because from an individual standpoint, like, is he going to win ACC Player of the Year again? Probably not. Like, is he going to? And I
think a big part of it is the fact that we're keeping pretty much our core besides Jordan Miller.
Right.
I mean, I'm assuming Bensley Joseph is staying, Wooga's staying, Norchad's staying, Nigel Pack is staying. So we've got. I mean, I know a few people have transferred out, but the only one that was really playing. As two people were playing significant minutes off the bench was Beverly and Walker, and I think Walker's minutes were going to diminish anyway. But like a big part of our core is staying, so I think that plays a role in it. And it reminds me, it's like the opposite of the situation in 2013 where Shane declared for the draft, which was smart. I mean, he was a first round draft pick, so it was smart. But there was no reason for him to stay because if he had stayed, our whole team was gone.
Right.
He was going to play on a really crap team, so it made sense. Wong can come back with a lot of our core intact, and Larinaga has shown he can recruit from the transfer portal. And I've said it before, I think we're going to be better next season.
And
if Wong stays.
And I think if he makes that determination, I think that's what'll drive him to stay more so than I think you very well might be right that he tests the water anyway. But I think a lot of what's playing into that is how good are we going to be next year? Because
I honestly think
it's hard to imagine.
It wouldn't make sense for him not to.
Yeah, it's an option he has. That's no penalty, so he might as well, right?
Yeah.
But I think a lot of the decision making has to be how good he thinks this team is going to be. Just because, like, is he going to win ACC Player of the Year again? Probably not. It was frankly more of a team award this year. Is he gonna be a Wooden finalist? Maybe actually. That's probably actually easier to do than an ACC Player of the Year because it's been a year since someone from Duke or Carolina won it, so we're probably screwed on that front. But there's one thing that we have not done yet, and that is win the actual championship.
Well, and I just say because assuming he comes back, that's 4 of our 5 starters from a Final Four run that's staying.
Right, and that's why.
And honestly, we can only improve on our depth because 3 of the guys that left either were playing no minutes or are going to get less minutes next season anyway.
Yeah, and
Beverly leaving hurts me because I like him.
Yeah,
but I think we can replace him, and I think Watson's going to take those minutes anyway.
I agree, totally agree.
There's another freshman, Robinson. Is that his name?
Yeah, Ja'Kai. I forget his last name. But I think Ja'Kai Robinson. I'm actually surprised he's still here because. We'll
see, but
I thought he was going to hit the portal.
We managed to make the Elite 8 last season with basically just a starting 5.
Yeah, and I think so. I think you kind of hit the nail on the head in terms of why Beverly transferred. Those are going to be Christian Watson's minutes. I don't think there's any doubt about that. I think the only reason, and then we still have Ja'Kai Robinson, like you said, to pick up some minutes too. So I think the only reason you go into the portal for a wing or a guard is if Wong declares, because then you need like a legit, like this guy started before.
No, I think you go into the portal for like a guard or a wing type player regardless because you have the room. I would like a bigger guard. I would like a bigger guard just to kind of balance out Nigel because Nigel's small. He's listed at 6 feet, which means he's probably like 5'11".
Yeah, good point.
But I just want more depth. We have Casey that's behind Omir. We have Nwoko coming in who may or may not get minutes next season. We obviously know we need a center stretch forward type.
We don't have a starter. We're down a starter, first of all. Like,
have you watched? You had sent me a clip about that guard out of Rice.
He is one of the highest rated kids in the portal. Period.
And we're in his top 4.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten to watch a lot.
I view him more as like, I mean, obviously you'll take a player of his talent. To me, he's a lot of like, if Wong goes, he starts. I think that is. I think he's the guy you plug in for Wong.
Yes, like I said, I haven't had a chance to do a lot of research on him because I've been working, so I don't know a lot about him. What are his measurables?
I mean, I'll have to pull them up. I don't have them in front of me. Well, research show here.
Edward says if Wong wants to go pro, waiting hurts his chances.
It
really depends. Staying for your last year when you had like a really good year is always risky. There is stuff he can improve on. It just depends. I like I said, I think he.
I mean, I think we need to be a little bit honest about his ceiling in terms of NBA draft.
He's not a lottery pick.
He's borderline first.
He's a late first round.
He's late first, early second in that range.
And if he gets a second round evaluation, I don't think it's worth giving up another year of eligibility in Miami to risk it. I think you come back.
Yeah, and I don't think it's going to move that much. I get what Edward's saying because, frankly, like you're better.
I'm also selfish, and I want him to stay.
But I think he's been here so long now that I think Edward's accurate in that, like,
yeah.
If you're like coming out after your freshman year, you have more upside, so you're much more draftable. If you stay for your junior or senior year, like. They get more on you. You tend to slide down a little bit, but he's already gone through that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think the 5th year is really going to impact him as much as if he was like, had a great freshman year and he had all this potential. That's when you want to go.
It kind of comes down to where I think what you're getting at is like, if he stays, it's because he wants to do more at Miami.
I think so. I think that would be the biggest selling point for him. And I think and also, by the way, his mom also. is very influential, and
mom is
I think she would be much. I think she would be much more go back to Miami than most.
Not necessarily, Edward. Dwayne Wade graduated from Marquette, did he not?
I think he was a junior. He stayed a while.
Was he a junior? He was there a few years.
Yeah.
I know that's like one example. But
yeah, no, I think there is some. I mean, Rick Barry, geez, want to throw it way back. That's before we discontinued the basketball program. So I think Edward's generally true, but Wong's already cleared all of that. That was the point I was making. He's been out of high school 4 years at this point, so like all of that's baked into the cake. I don't think 4 versus 5 years. Like again, NBA is all upside and potential, and that's what they're drafting on. I don't think 4 versus 5 years is really going to impact as much as like 1 versus 4 years, but he's already done the 4. Yeah. So there's a couple other questions here. I guess we talked about this last week, but in very different.
I sat in the nether regions of the upper deck. I was in section 631, row H.
Yeah, I sat at midcourt like 30 rows up, so it was like completely the opposite. But
the players look like this.
Yeah,
But I was in the building, and that's all that matters. Next year, instead of getting tickets with my other friends, I'm going to buy with the Vish because he is willing to fork out a little bit more.
Yeah, I forked out a lot bit more this time. I don't know if I'm going to do that again, especially, we're going to be buying plane tickets to Cleveland and back. So there's going to be a lot more expenses in there. So,
Well, here's the thing. I told you this. I was prepared to fork out more money had we have won. I would have bought good seats for the finals.
Well, I think
like the semis, whatever. But the finals, I got to be near it.
Yeah, and one of the things that now that we've kind of seen what it looks like, where to sit and where not to sit. Like
football stadiums.
Yeah, and it's hard to until you go in there because Matt. Actually, I think he paid less because he bought it the day of the game. But
I overspent.
I
overspent by a lot.
Yeah, because those tickets plummeted the day of the game. But also, if there were bigger, we actually had the most fans there, which shocked the hell out of me. But if there was
we did.
if there was like a bunch of big schools there, because there weren't really, like Connecticut's a public school, but it's not that big. But if you had like a Michigan there or Carolina or something, the tickets would have been like double.
Yep.
So we kind of got a little bit lucky there. Like one of the teams was FAU.
That's why my flight was so freaking expensive.
That is true. You did. I mean, mine was too, and I came from DC, so I don't know that it matters.
Yeah, I know, but it's like you think about it, it's 2 South Florida teams, everyone trying to get out there because both programs make the Final Four for the first time. Like,
yeah, but anyway, we learned some things about kind of the seating alignment because like Matt sat, I think, almost directly under you on the 100 levels and had a worse view because you're kind of looking across and it's like so flat and he was so far away. So we kind of.
So like where the stadium seating works is like the upper decks. It's like when you go through the tunnel, if you go down, it's the 500s. If you go up, it's the 600s. Had I been in the 500s down a little bit, it probably would have been a great view. I was just up too high.
Yeah, no, I didn't see any of that. Because like I think that stadium's kind of weird because it's indoor, but a lot of like the escalators and stuff are outdoor. So we just like entered on the 100 level, and like I never even saw the stadium.
So when we arrived to the stadium, we had to go up to the 600s, and there was such a line for the escalators that me and my friend Russ walked it all the way up, pretty much. Just like my Apple Watch thought I was doing a workout because we just kept walking up the ramps.
You were up there.
Going up.
Yeah.
Nosebleeds.
Yeah, but I think.
But again, I was in the building, so it doesn't matter.
But I also think if future, for all the Canes fans getting out to Phoenix next year, it's better to sit higher up, more towards the middle than like on the lower part if you're not in the frame of the court. Because there is so much empty space. You'll be a mile away and not high enough to actually see down. Which
people
is what
that
happened
were
to
sitting
Matt.
on the end line, people that were sitting on the end line seats, they had to deal with the whole student section in front of them and the band and the reporters. And then it was
and even then they don't press up right against them. There's like another gap there. There's like empty space there. So that's just definitely like if you're choosing between like all the way in the upper deck, but more towards the middle, or like lower deck and like behind.
We're now Final Four experts with seating.
Take the upper deck. It's actually cheaper too. So you definitely want to do that. You'll be able to see better. Or spend way too much money like I did and watch us not make layups. All right. I guess what else? Is there anything? So we kind of talked about a little bit about what we're looking for in the stretch four. I still think we need depth too, just across the front court. One of the things that I am curious if, like you mentioned, we could use some more depth at the guard position. I think we're kind of heavy there. I do wonder if
Juan doesn't stay, are we heavy there?
No. Then we need, like I said, a starter. But I think between Christian Watson, Bensley Joseph, and Ja'Kai coming off the bench, that's 3 potential guards. And I guess the question I have though is, do we ever get in a situation where we play a little bit like Wooga at the 2 and have like play because we never actually play like a normal team. It's always 3 guards and an undersized 4. It's like
because that's how our teams have been. I mean, if you look at the season before, we had no depth.
No,
our starting 5 played the entire time.
And I totally agree with you. And I'm not suggesting we overall change it. Do we want that, I guess, for lack of a better word, tool in our tool belt? Like, because we don't have the ability to play that.
If we can get it.
Well, I guess the reason I'm asking is because if the answer is no, we're always going to have 3 guards running out there at all times, then I do think we need another guard. Because only having 2 of your backups being players that have never played before. Christian Watson played a little bit, but that's it. Yeah. And then Bensley really being the only guard. This is if Wong is there even. And Bensley being the only real guard off the bench. Like, that is not enough if it's for 3 positions.
Yeah.
So if you can cover that, if you can slide over.
It depends on the direction he wants to go. I think it depends on who, as far as size-wise, who we bring in and what the identity of our offense is going to be.
Well, what would Coach Brown here do?
I like our small ball. Honestly, I'll keep saying it. Bring in a Kenny Kaji type stretch 4 to go along with Norchad, or bring in a Kevin Love 5 and keep Norchad at the 4 and play like that. And then you're starting Wong if he stays. You got Nigel, you got Wooga. and go from there. Take Bensley off the bench. Casey, hopefully he's developing.
Okay, so
Nwoko's going to develop.
that's one position. What do we do with the other three?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, you say bring in a stretch 4. I think we're
either
both
bring in a stretch 4 and have Omir play the 5, or bring in a stretch 5, have Omir play the 4.
So yeah,
Wooga's at the 3.
We're totally in agreement there. Like I'm on board. I'm on board with your plan. Now we have 3 other spots. That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Like, what do we do with the other 3?
Wooga at the 3, which he's been playing the whole time. Assuming Wong stays, Wong's the 2, Nigel's the 1. You have Bensley Joseph coming off the bench. If Wong doesn't go, then you need to hit the transfer portal and get a starting guard, because
I think so.
I don't know. Bensley Joseph, I don't know that you start him alongside Nigel.
I don't think you can. To be honest, it's too small.
My thing is Bensley needs to develop more of an offensive game. His defense is elite. You need, and like you said, he's small. You need a taller guard to play alongside Nigel.
Totally agree. I think if Wong goes, you definitely have to go in the portal. I guess the question I was asking, what are the other 3? I meant we have 3 open scholarships. What are we doing with them?
Oh,
because we got Nwoku, and then we get a stretch 4. We still have 3 left. I think we still have 3 left. Like, where are you filling out the roster? And you don't have to like pick specific players, because who the hell knows? Like, we didn't know
if you think about it,
right? But where do you put your resources?
You bring in that stretch 4, that stretch 5, so that's 1.
Yes, Anthony, I know you were messing with me. We're old friends. It's fine.
Nwoko is another scholarship that's taking up.
Well, so the way I'm doing math in my head, but I view he replaces Jordan Miller just on the scholarship chart. So that's one. Okay. So that one's like kind of off the table in terms of numbers.
So then you got 3 left.
We had 4 transfers. We had 4 transfers, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's 4, right? Because it's Jovanovic.
Yeah, 4.
Anthony Walker,
2 freshmen, Walker, and Beverly. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So Nwoko's taking Miller. So you have 4 scholarships.
4, and then one of them is a stretch 4. So there's 3.
One of them is a stretch 4, or like a stretch Kevin Love stretch 5.
That's the other starter, right? So we're assuming Wong comes back. We got our starting 5. Where are you filling your bench in?
I think you bring in another big that you use for moments where you need defense. Someone that can take those fouls off Norchad.
Yeah, I think we just need big
you bring in maybe like another 3 small forward that can maybe play the 4 if we want to go really small. But I still think you need another guard. And I don't think Nigel is a point guard. He's very much a combo guard. He's played the point for us all season. He's done fine, but I would love to get another taller ball handler top type guy.
Yeah, I think that. So I think you've convinced me we need another guard, even if Zay comes back, which I wasn't thinking when this call started. So there's something. But
no, I say that.
I'm doing it in my head. And I'm thinking
Wong is so much of our offense, and Nigel can shoot the 3. Wong creates a lot of stuff. So whether he stays or not, Bensley's not coming in off the bench and creating all this offense. Watson barely got any time, so he's going to be a little raw next year anyway. We need another person with experience.
Yeah, no, you had me convinced on if Wong leaves, but I think you've convinced me on if he stays, we still probably need another guard, because between Jakai and Watson, they've barely played, and that's other than Bensley, those are next man up.
I just don't know what I don't think fans are going to be impressed with people that we bring in if we're looking at them as bench players. We're not going to bring in some guy with amazing stats.
But I think that's pretty much what we're filling in. We're not. There's not. I mean, if Wong goes, there's a starting position available there.
If Wong goes, then
but everyone else is going to be role players.
I need to look at. Yeah, I know. It just depends. I need to look at that guy from Rice, his tape. I haven't had a chance to look at it yet.
I think he's a starter. I think if Wong's here, he's not.
Was he a combo guard? Was he playing point?
I'm not entirely sure how they used him, but he's definitely like a scorer.
Okay. So he can open up the offense.
He can
stretch the defense out.
Yeah, he averaged 19 a game, shot 36% from 3.
Okay, yeah.
And it's Texas, Auburn, Miami, Xavier.
How tall is he? Do you know?
I am looking. I mean, I am gonna.
Sorry, I would have done more research, but I.
It is.
It was very busy.
It is. I mean, it's an off-season show. It's fine. Let's see. He is 6'3".
Okay, so a little bit taller.
I mean,
So we thought
he is
like
he's very much like a plug-in for Wong, is my opinion.
Yeah, I still want a taller guard. I mean, even someone that could maybe even play the 3 also.
Well,
like,
this is where I was asking the question,
like a utility guy.
Well, this is where I was asking the question. At some point, do you slide Wooga over and go bigger?
Wooga hasn't really played guard. I mean, we've seen him
Yeah.
play at the 3. How great is his ball handling?
I mean, I feel like our whole team is just plays so loose. They're chucking the ball all over the place. Like we just play. I don't have any concern with really any of our ball.
I mean, I think Wooga is going to do so much over this offseason and develop so much more that I think fans are going to be pleasantly surprised with how well he plays next season. If he can get more consistent on his 3-point shooting and work on his ball handling, I don't know how great his ball handling is, honestly, because he hasn't really had to handle it. But I think he could be a star for us next year. He might be our next Jordan Miller in that people kind of undervalue what he's doing for this team because his defense as well has developed a lot from his freshman to his sophomore year. So I think he's going to be our next Jordan Miller and what he does for our team next season that maybe people don't notice.
Yeah, and I think he has that ability to be like you said, the utility player that just does a bunch of small things. And next thing you know, he had 15 and 10. What the hell happened? It's just like
just quietly does all the things that maybe don't show up in the stat sheet.
Okay, so I think we're both
he's had the benefit of being on the Elite 8 run and getting some minutes on the Elite 8 run, playing in the Final Four and being a starter. He's experienced both those things as a freshman and a sophomore. That experience alone makes him like 40 in basketball years.
Yeah, and totally agree. And he had that year 1 to year 2 leap that like
and I think Watson is going to do that next season.
Yeah, and Watson.
I think Watson's up and coming, and yes, he's a small forward.
Well, I mean, but again, we use our wings kind of a little interchangeably. Like we kind of we have 3 essential guards that we play, and then that's why I was kind of asking.
We need a stretch center or a stretch 4. All these people that want just a really tall center. I
do think we need a really tall center off the bench.
I would take it for depth off the bench. I completely agree.
But
this isn't going to be someone who's going to be starting. You just need someone to plug in for a few minutes to take some of those fouls off Norchad and Nwoko or Casey, whoever playing, whatever. I'm totally down with that. But we're not going to get a center out of the portal unless he's like some stretch guy that's going to be a starter.
Okay, so we get a guard. We get another starter, stretch 4 or stretch 5, whatever, next to Norchad.
Yeah,
that's 2.
Coolmere,
That's 2. We get another backup big, you're thinking?
Yeah.
All right, that's 3.
I don't know that.
Where's your magical fourth player here?
I don't know that Larinaga fills all the scholarships. How many guys? I mean, I guess there's 1,300 guys in the portal. People are just looking for.
There'll be players. That's why I'm not getting the specifics yet. Because frankly, if you look at last year, it was like late April, early May when like Nigel committed and stuff. So we're still in the beginning.
You know what we can get? You get a player out of the portal that's just some white guy that can shoot his lights out from 3. Just get a specialist that you just put him in for certain situations to either spread the floor or you just need a big time shot or they're going to be fouling and he's ice from the line. Just get a dude that shoots like 50-60% from 3. Get us a more consistent Duncan Robinson.
Is that? I mean, if Duncan Robinson college would be fine, but is that? Did you think
Why
that
not?
fits the team?
Get us a shooter that can space the floor.
Yeah, don't necessarily have a problem with that. I'm just curious, like.
It's not something we have.
It's not something we. I mean,
Nigel can shoot, but.
So you're right. It's not something we have. It's not something we've
had. Get us like a Klay Thompson.
It's not really something that Larinaga's ever used. That's why I'm pausing. I think you're right. It brings a totally different dynamic, but I'm trying to think through all of our teams.
Well, you got to remember, it's like if there's a really good guard or someone who's transferring because he wants more minutes, these really great players aren't going to come here if they're.
No, I know. I think that's why we are looking at
backups.
Yeah, no, we're looking at backups and we're looking at.
You got to look at getting some role players that are going to come off the bench, play 8 or 9 minutes, and be there either to just be a shooter or just to play defense.
Yeah, it's got to be someone that I really want to play in the ACC or something. That's kind of where we're.
Well, there was that 5-star that decommitted from Duke.
I mean, he would come in and start, but he wasn't even interested in us. No, he's your 4.
Yeah.
He's actually a stretch 4. Like he would start right
because
now.
Filipowski announced he's coming back.
I know. I saw
and
that.
And somebody showed it to me like, oh, Larinaga should go after him. I'm like, I was like, he's not coming to Miami.
Yeah, I mean, we weren't even
hilarious. You know, it'd be hilarious if he ended up going to UNC.
That would be the 2 middle fingers in the air. But I don't think he was even. I think he might end up picking Kentucky. I think that was his other finalist when he picked Duke. But it makes Duke weaker, so it still works for us.
Throw the hat in the circle. You never know.
Yeah. I mean, he is the starting power forward on our team right now if he came. So he would just plug in the Jordan Miller spot.
Right? I'm telling you. But it's not going to happen.
Should make the call and say, do you actually want to win the ACC? Because, come to Corrigan.
We've done it. No, but Duke's got a lot of people coming back. So they're going to be good next year.
I'm never afraid of them because we always play them so well.
Well, Larinaga's got like the best record against
them. I know. That's what I'm like.
It would be nice to have some size.
No, I think we definitely need to get some size. And if that means, God, I think there's certain things we can't do right now. Like, it would be nice to be able to just like throw it into the post and get a layup, which a lot of teams are able to do. And it's so hard for us. And we're so talented, it doesn't really show up. And we have this great offense, but what happened in the Final Four is just the degree of but I mean, it's been part of that is the degree of difficulty on our shots is so high. We're just so good. You kind of get used to it, but like taking mid-range pull-up jumpers over like outstretched arms is not a good shot. It's not a good shot, but like Wong makes it every time. So you're like, how are you missing? We were missing
everything. Yeah, Anthony just named some guys that he wants us to look at in the portal. I'd have to do some research on these guys. I don't know them all.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't. Arturo Morris, I remember because I did look at them when we were going to play them.
Yeah.
He was a 5-star that didn't play that much this year. So, I mean, again, I think those are more. If Wong comes back, the perimeter players are going to be backups, and I think that's kind of where, someone that really wants to be at Miami, and understands that there's not going to be that many minutes there because Wong and Pack are going to eat the minutes at the guard position. I mean, that's just the reality. So.
Yeah.
Anyone that's like transferred for more playing time, if Wong comes back, is not going to really want to play here because
exactly
it's just which we're okay with. That's a good problem to have. Sorry, we have 2 of the best guards in the country already. You're not going to play a lot. It's fine.
It's just I hope Wong makes a decision sooner or later because it'll affect.
Yeah, and I think it's hard. It's hard to read tea leaves. I think we're in the Rice kids Oliveira's top list in case like if Wong goes, I think that's probably the deciding factor for him to come to Miami or not. I think one of the things though that this is not, especially based off the current success, but also based off of our coach, this is a good program to sell. You play in the ACC, the weather is great.
Miami.
Yeah, the weather's great, but also one of the things, and this is why, the money's there, but this is also why I was so frustrated with Frank Haith and Perry Clark, kind of go full circle on our conversation. One of the reasons we were successful in Leonard Hamilton and now with Larinaga is basketball is very much an urban sport. And a lot of these high-level recruits want to live in cities. That's where they're from. A lot of them from like New York, Philadelphia, DC. Like they're from cities. Not a lot of them are like from the countryside. Very different from football. Selling them on, hey, you can come live in a city and play in the ACC is not that hard of a sell. And you see kids like Wooga coming from like the Northeast and from like those are, it's not that hard to recruit those kids. Like Nigel's from Indianapolis. Like a lot of them don't want to necessarily be in a college town. It's basketball's a very different atmosphere.
And to Anthony's point about us not getting recruits because Miami hasn't been known as a basketball school, Anthony, we haven't been good.
Yeah.
Like, we had that run in 2013, but we haven't been good. That's why we're not getting the good recruits. We just made the Elite Eight last year for the first time. We just made the Final Four this year. We keep putting runs together like we are. We're going to start getting these top recruits. They're going to want to come play in Miami because the city sells itself. We have good NIL. We have really good academics. we're going to start getting these players if L keeps this up.
Yeah, but also I think with the transfer portal, it's totally different. I mean, the teams in the Final Four this year were not led by a bunch of freshmen.
Nope.
And I think we'll just be opportunistic in the portal. And the reason we're going to continue to be successful, like you said, we have the money, but also our coach is awesome. It's not easy to integrate all these players together and actually play at a high level. It's actually really hard. He's able to do it. That's why we have success with it.
And half of our players that got significant minutes were transfers.
Yeah.
Jordan Miller was a transfer 2 years ago from George Mason. Norchad transferred in. Nigel Pack transferred in. So
yeah, that's three of the 5 starters.
Yeah.
And this year is again it's going to be because Jordan Miller's replacement. I'm assuming it's not on the roster right now. So
yeah,
unless AJ Casey makes that kind of a leap, can he shoot threes? Develop a 6'10" shoot.
AJ Casey needs to get more aggressive, and by him getting more aggressive, he just needs to put more meat on. He needs more muscle. He's tall and lanky.
He needs more muscle, and he needs to work on his defensive positioning. He was out of position a lot trying to play in the post.
He does. Yeah, Larinaga does know how to develop players. Look at Wooga from 1 year to the next.
Yeah.
Look at Jordan Miller from last year to this year.
Yeah, but I think
that's Isaiah Wong from last year to this year.
But I think that's why we're getting. I'm just going to come out wrong, but we're getting the second tier recruit. The 5-star, this guy's already a lottery pick before he shows up on campus, does not come to Miami still, right? But we get that.
We had that once with Lonnie Walker.
Oh God, that team. Man, we have so many. You said this on the last show. We did so many painful losses. Oh God, so many.
Do you remember when we played at UNC and we won on a buzzer beater with Jacon?
Oh yes, I tweeted out a string of profanity that I'm surprised I still have my Twitter account.
Like we were up and we gave up the lead, and then we let their best 3-point shooter tie the game, and then Jaquan Newton shot it from half court, even though he could have taken easily like 200.
Yeah, no, he let go with like 3 seconds left. Yes.
And then like Lonnie Walker trampled him, and I thought he got injured because he was like limping around after. And I was like, what is going on?
Bruce Brown was in the pileup wearing his like boot.
L said they're taking 2 from the portal. When did he say that? Because we've had a few people transfer since then.
Yeah, I think anything they say is subject to change is all say, because I think you're going to be opportunistic. He's not going to take people just to fill their, like you said, Mel.
No, he's not going to fill a scholarship.
Yeah, he'll leave a scholarship open if he has to, but
yeah,
he's going to be opportunistic. If there's 3 kids we really want, we'll take 3. Like I don't think that's But
I'm really excited for Nwoko. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing his name right. I apologize if I'm not. But I just watched some of his tape, and the kid's 17 years old. And I think I don't think he's going to be a starter or get a ton of minutes next season, but I think he's going to play.
I think it depends.
I think we're going to see him a bit.
I think it depends on 2 things.
KC developing.
Yeah, his development, who we actually get him to start at the 4 and how many minutes the game that is. And then outside of Casey, is there another big option that actually can play center?
That's on our team currently?
No, that we'd have to go get someone. I don't.
Oh, yeah.
Because you touched on this earlier. It wasn't just Norchad getting in foul trouble. It was also he got tentative quite a few times in the tournament.
He was worried about getting
in foul trouble, and that's all this. It's almost the same thing, right? It's kind of like
if we can get a stretch 4 or a stretch 5 that can guard the big man and get Norchad off that would be amazing. And that's why I want a big man for depth. That's why I say we can get us a regular center that we can bring in to kind of spell Norchad.
I do wonder if obviously we got Norchad from Arkansas State and he started right away. I wonder if there's like some smaller school big dude that's like, hey, a year or 2 for now you might start.
And here's the thing: had Norchad, I don't think got enough exposure because he was from another country, and so his exposure came when he played at Arkansas State.
Right, and I mean, he's an easy sell. He's Nicaraguan. He's coming to Miami. I think we're gonna have to drop down. Like, you're not gonna get another player from like a big time conference to come sit like behind people. So I think there's I think the options.
But if you're looking for a depth piece, that's fine. If you're looking for someone to come in and start, then you're looking for someone from one of the power conferences. But you're just looking for a depth piece. It could be a diamond in the rough. You never know.
Yeah, no, and I think that's what we'll be looking for. Like, hey, you have an opportunity to play in the ACC or in the Sun Belt now, or whatever it is. Here's an opportunity. You're not going to start right
But I
away.
mean, it could easily be, you know, a freshman that played 1 year at you know, a lower school, not a power school. You bring them in as a sophomore, bring them off the bench for a year. They start to develop by their junior or senior year. They're a starter in the ACC.
Yeah, no, and that's the vision USL.
Yeah,
that's the vision USL. And I think there's opportunities. Like you said, there's 1,300 kids in the world. So, I mean, a lot of them came from Miami, but
four,
yeah.
Recruiting internationally and bringing young players from Spain or Europe to play could happen. Listen, Nwoko's from Canada.
Yeah, he's from Canada.
So, if someone could find out how to actually pronounce his name so that I don't keep mispronouncing it, that would be amazing.
I mean, you could take on that task.
But I've been doing the talking for an hour and a half.
I mean, so have I. But you've been playing hurt though. You've been playing.
I've eaten 3 cough drops in this span.
I know you've been playing hurt and powered through.
Right, I'm telling you. I stopped drinking the apple juice because I think that was like triggering it. So.
I did not know that was apple juice. I was like, you just drinking a beer? Like, what's happening here?
No, it's apple juice. But I was drinking it and my cough was getting worse. So I was like, let me stop. That's why I muted myself at one point at the beginning because I like had a fit while you were talking. I was like, so that's why I was like, let me mute so not everybody has to hear that.
Appreciate the playing hurt here and powering through. For your first time officially being a co-host, and you know you're sick, but you powered through.
I do.
Is there anything? I mean, I feel like we've been talking for like an hour and a half, but is there anything we missed that you want to talk about before you get out there?
I don't even know. We talked women's basketball for a bit. We talked men's basketball for a bit. We somehow talked baseball at some point.
Briefly.
I told my story about getting kicked out of a game. What are your thoughts on last comment about Coach L and my comparison to him with Riley and Spoelstra?
And that's the comment, yeah.
Larinaga has the same mentality as Spoelstra and I. He rather get players that fit their culture than superstars. That's true. I mean,
well, I would say I don't think it's true for any of them.
Nigel,
actually,
there's parts. Nigel Pack kind of was well known when he transferred in. But I mean, Spoelstra is known for developing like not undrafted guys.
Yeah, but they also
a lot of our teams have. But we do have like a one superstar player, but our superstar player arguably was Wong, who came in and developed and whatever. So
right, but I would just first of all with the Heat, I mean, the claim to fame for Spoelstra and Riley was literally assembling the big three. So I don't really think that we're not doing superstars here, other than these 3 guys.
I don't care what anybody says. The 2020 bubble year, had Bam and Dragic been healthy, we win the finals.
I'm not commenting on that. I'm just commenting on the overall, like, I think they're kind of I think they're okay with superstars, and I think
no, but Spoelstra. I mean, yes, Spoelstra, they brought in the big 3, but Spoelstra's also shown that he can win with undrafted guys.
No, but I don't think that's like the plan. I think it's just what they have to do because they haven't attracted a big time free agent.
These 5-star kids that are one and done, I don't know if that's something Coach L likes to go after because he likes to.
I would agree. I feel like it applies more to Larinaga than it does to Spoelstra and Riley.
Yeah.
I mean, NBA is a meat market. You go for the free agent, you can try to get the biggest player you can. If you don't, you fill in the roster. This way, Spoelstra's a great coach, so he's able to get more out of players that other coaches wouldn't. But that's Plan B. Plan A is to have Kevin Durant on your team. Like, let's be real here. It's not. Exactly. Let's see if we can get Duncan Robinson to hit some shots. It's not Plan A. That's Plan B. But I think for Coach
Robinson, $90 million to sit on the bench and do absolutely nothing.
There's enough Heat talk on the 5 Reasons Network for us to not do it. I think Coach Al. I mean, Lonnie Walker's kind of the only big time recruit that's at that level that he's gotten. And
we all knew he'd be a one and done.
Yeah, and that I'm curious, what Coach L thinks about that whole experience because, again, if Bruce Brown doesn't get injured, that team is probably in the Final Four, and
Bruce Brown's having a more successful NBA career than Lonnie Walker.
Yeah, but we had 2 NBA starters on that team, and one of them got injured, and we still lost at the buzzer.
I still say our 2013 team makes our first Final Four had Shane Larkin not gotten food poisoning.
Yeah.
Mike Nwoko.
No.
So I was kind of saying it correctly. Nwoko.
Oh, there's going to be some woke puns going on next year. All right. I'm counting on our student section to come up with something creative there, but yeah,
I know, they had the fat head of the baby food jar, which was awesome.
Yeah,
we met Darius Rice.
Yes.
We met Darius Rice.
Yes,
he was at Andre Johnson's thing.
Yeah, he was a 5-star. He was that recruiting class that Perry Clark destroyed. Perry Clark.
We should just call him Voldemort. He who should not be named.
That was Darius Rice. There was this kid named Marcus Barnes who was like a 4-star that he got in there, and we still had James Jones and John Salmons off that he inherited, who both played several years in the
NBA.
Was
before my time.
And missed the NCAA tournament. Then made it one year, got blown out, finished last in the last year in the Big East. We finished last in the Big East, and that's when they fired him.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, that was a wasted recruiting class.
I will maintain that Elle and Meyer are the best basketball coach duo in the NCAA.
At
least top 5.
No, they're definitely up there. I'm thinking. I mean, in terms of accomplishments, it's obviously Connecticut's. But that's almost just because Gino Auriemma is it's hard, but
yeah. And everyone's saying oh, he's slipping because UConn didn't get past the CCC.
One time. He's
got so many people injured on that team.
I think you were in college the last time that happened. It happens one time, and they're this guy.
No, it's Paige Beckers is tore another ACL, and they had somebody else injured, and
also even if they were healthy,
can we just start a hashtag Haley Van Lith to Miami?
I mean, you sent me the message that she was in the portal, and I got excited. You're the one who talked me off the ledge, and now you're. I was like, for
she's
sure.
not coming here.
I know, you're dummy.
But when I saw it, I was like, oh shoot, let's get her, and I'm she's not coming to Miami.
I know you had already gone through that by the time I saw it. You were like, hey, she's not. I
had this conversation. Right? It really just depends on what she's transferring for. So she graduated from Louisville. She's got a year of eligibility left. What is her reasoning for leaving Louisville when they made an Elite 8 run? Is it she wants to play closer to home, which I believe is the Pacific Northwest? She wants a different graduate school program, and she's switching because of what she wants to study. She wants to contend for a natty, or she wants to make money, which contending for a natty and making money could be technically paired together. So if she wants NIL, coming to Miami is a great reason. I wouldn't say contend for a natty because we're losing a few pieces, but I mean, we could definitely make a good run if we had.
Honestly, I think if she's plugged in, I think.
Listen, Edward, I'm very biased.
I mean, I hesitated because if anyone even side-eyes Katie Meyer, I'm ready to punch them. So I was like, I want to say Coach Meyer is the greatest coach in college.
But this is what you have to remember, and this is why I say they're one of the best in Miami, is because UConn easily gets all of the best players, especially on the women's side. They get all the 5-star players,
right?
Just because of the name.
But I think
what Meyer's able to do and how she develops players. And it's and I'm not trying to diss the players that she brings in, but she does a lot with the little that she's gotten over the years and how she's been able to develop players. Destiny Harden just got drafted.
She's one of my favorite people in sports, period.
Yeah.
But,
I was Gino Auriemma gets the best of women's players that he brings in.
It wasn't happening before he was there.
That's true. But now I'm saying Meyer just made an Elite 8 run as a 9 seed. Playing in the ACC where Louisville, made it to the Elite 8, Virginia Tech made it to the Final Four, Duke and UNC usually are decent. Miami women's basketball is not supposed to be this good.
No, that I agree with. You could say that she's one of the best coaches in college basketball, and I'd say that to anyone. Yeah. I would have said that before they made the Elite 8.
Yeah.
Um,
But as a duo, I think we have a top duo.
no, we definitely have. It's near the top. Like if you want to say top 5, I'm 100%. It's
I'm
UConn
just
staring
being
us in the
biased by
face.
saying they're the top.
I mean,
But
UConn staring us
definitely
in the
has an
face, and
argument.
that's the only pushback I'm giving you is just because like
UConn,
even when we made the final, when we had both these elite, I was like, that probably never happens. I was like, oh yeah, UConn's won the national championship in both at the same time.
Yeah,
what are we talking
UConn,
about?
yeah.
They're just a
But
beast. But
this past season, we were the only team to have both teams in the Elite Eight. So you can argue. You can argue. But no, as a program, UConn definitely can take that top spot for sure. But I think Elle and Meyer are up there with the development that they've done with our program and bringing us.
yeah,
up,
and also I will say, and to further kind of talk
HVL
about,
looks good at Indiana. I mean,
does she want to go to Indiana or go to the team that goes in there and beats them? I mean, you got to make decisions.
I know she's really good friends with Reese.
Oh my God, she could not go.
Could you imagine?
It's not fair.
What if she went to LSU?
They already scored 100 points.
What if
go for 200?
What if she ends up at Iowa or LSU?
Oh God, no. She's got to
come. Or UConn.
I mean, she's got to work on her tan. Come to Miami. I will say, like, in defense,
she's not coming to Miami.
I know,
but we could.
I know you already rained on my parade when you like sent me that on Saturday. I was like, oh my God, we gotta get her, and be like,
she's not coming to Miami.
It's not happening. I get it, but still, she hasn't.
Edward, how's the Clemson basketball program treating you? They lost as a 1 seed in the NIT.
In the NIT, they should have been in the tournament. But anyway, he's on a delay, so he'll answer in like 30 seconds because that's how long it takes for the thing to stream through. But I will say, like, we have not until really Radakovich was here put money into the women's program, and Katie Meyer's been overachieving for a long time. It's not an accident that all of a sudden we're investing, and then
that's a conversation that's a conversation I've had with people. Is like, Katie Meyer's been doing so much with the little that's been thrown at her for so long. With we made the Elite Eight last year, and then the Final Four this year, and then the women's team making the Elite Eight this year. How much of that is Radakovich and the financing that he's been putting into the hoops teams over the last 2 seasons?
I think definitely for the women, there was not an investment or a prioritization at all in women's basketball, and Katie Meyer's been holding that program together.
Yeah.
And now there's actually some backing there. It's not surprising that, oh, wow, we've never made it this far before. Yeah.
By the way, she's one of the best coaches in the country.
Yeah.
Give her something to work with, and boom, here's an Elite Eight run.
Yeah.
Here's a team that played the best, who defensively played the best against the eventual national championship winning team. Like,
yeah, no, I think it'll continue to. I think the women's program is just going to get better and better. And when Haley Van Lith is here dropping bombs, I'll say I told you so.
Look at this question from Anthony. Do you guys think it would help the state of Florida as a whole for basketball popularity in the high schools to host a national championship game, Elite Eight, or Final Four? Where would we host it, though?
So
because Hard Rock is in a dome.
Yeah, you can't do the Final Four, Elite Eight, and you could do
maybe like one of the rounds, but the Final Four is usually in a big football dome.
Yeah, usually the Elite Eight's in a basketball arena, so you could frankly do it in Miami. They did the opening rounds in Orlando this year, so I mean they do put stuff here. The Final Four it needs to be in it's a dome.
The women's team could become so good that we host like the first and second round or something.
That happened a few years ago, and we blew that game to Arizona State.
They should be in Miami so quick.
Oh no, if it's a God, I'm just hoping it's offset because I will fly around. As long as they're not on the same day. I was literally I was trying to figure out if I could get from Albany to Bloomington and back, and it wasn't really doable because our game was so late on Friday.
Because it was the same day.
Well, no, it wasn't. It was only the same day on the Elite Eight. On the Sweet 16 Elite Eight. On the
Sweet 16, yeah.
We were offset. The problem I had was so on the Friday night when the men played, it was the last game. It was late, and then the women were playing at noon the next day, and there's no way because it's not even going to cities. I'm in Albany, so I had to go through Chicago to get to Indianapolis, so then drive an hour to get to Bloomington. I tried. I had crazy think. And I was like, I can do this. I can't do this.
Yeah.
So I literally tried to do it. I was like, I mapped it out, and I was like, there's no way there's no direct flight from Albany to Indianapolis. I had to go through another airport, and then Indiana.
Albany's tiny.
I'd have to drive, so it just wasn't happening.
Yeah.
But if the women's team is in
what,
Miami, you can get anywhere from Miami, so I can be in
We'll
Miami
see what our postseasons look like next year. We might see each other at quite a few tournament games.
I mean, if the women are hosting in Miami, I'll definitely be down there and figure out how I can.
I would love it because then I don't have to travel. It'd be so nice to go to like a big tournament game and then just be able to come home to my apartment.
Yeah, no, I'll definitely. If the women are hosting in Miami, I'll be there, and then I'll see what the men are doing and see if I can pop back and forth. But yeah, no, I'll definitely be in Miami if the women are there. This one, I'll be honest.
Chat have any more questions?
I'll be honest too. I just assumed the women were going to lose, so to Indiana. I mean, you didn't think we were going to win that game. Be honest.
Well, no, we lost to a 1 seed the year before, but how is it that like 2 years in a row we get stuck with that? Like even Meyer said it in her last press conference, saying like, hopefully she's like, I don't want to play in any more 8-9 games, like. She's like, hopefully we're on an 8 or 9.
I mean, a lot of it, even like the retired coaches and all, they all complain about it. They're like, this is insane because like you'd rather be the 10 seed than an 8 seed.
Yeah.
Like, what kind of tournament is this?
And
or like if you're the 5 seed, the difference between a 4 and a 5 is so big because the 4 seed's at home. It's like, how could you be like 1 spot difference and now I got to play a road game?
Yeah.
I
don't get. They should hold them at neutral sites. It's because I don't think the women's.
They won't get that. They won't get. But I think that's changing, and I think the other thing. I think the other thing is.
Look at Edward firing off some Clemson facts.
I have Ruby.
Edward hates the men's basketball coach at Clemson so much. I've heard so much about him the entire year. I think his name's like Barnwell or something. I forgot what his name is.
I mean, Clemson will have Edward will have it in the chat in about 20 seconds. But he hates that coach so much. It's really funny. One thing
I made some money off Edward this year because we bet Miami Clemson games $20 for everything for every game that Miami.
Well, did you keep 20 in escrow for what's going to happen to our football team in the fall? Or
I made a quick 60 because the women's team beat them twice and the men's team beat them also. Yeah, but then he made 40 because their track team beat us.
Well, you're going. So it's any sport.
Any sport, but the winner just has to call it within 24 hours.
So what about if it's like one of like, because a lot of the track events are like just, they're not like head to head. How does that?
It was like an overall placing in like the ACC tournament thing that they made. So technically I should get money from us winning the regular season, but that doesn't really count.
But I do wonder, just back to that comment about the women's game, I wonder if there's like an opportunity to do what they did with the regionals where they only had 2 sites. They put them in neutral sites, but then we had 2 locations.
Yeah.
And then you have the fans there to actually fill the arena. Like if they do something like that.
I just don't like having like the Indiana got home court advantage. It just isn't.
I mean, it made the win much more enjoyable. I will say after we won,
basically an away game.
I was like, it is an away game. And I was like, after we won, I'm like, that was so great. It was on their court.
It was close. I said
Barnwell.
Brownwell something. But no, let Miami.
I'm all in favor of the first 2 rounds being on the higher seeded court as long as we're hosting next year. So
yes,
I want the unfair.
Me and Vish will be there.
Yeah. No, I'll definitely.
Vish, you can come sleep on my couch if you don't want to pay for a hotel.
I mean, I don't have to pay for a hotel there. My whole family's there. That's why I'm in
Miami
all the time. Yeah, I'm there all the time.
Well, that's better because I'm gonna say it's like sleeping on my couch probably isn't the most comfortable.
My parents live like a block from you.
Well, we won't discuss where I actually live.
Yeah. Well, I didn't say where my parents. I'm not gonna put my parents' address on here either. So anyway, my sister's there too.
When Miami plays Clemson basketball next year, we got to get Edward on here.
Yeah, we can do that. You can yell about Brad Burnell for like half an hour. If you can get awarded edgewise, I don't know your personality yet to know if you're going to be able to butt into this.
He can throw some blows.
He's just gonna. You got to be willing to talk over someone if you're gonna get awarded edgewise on this show. So
yeah,
you just gotta we have no respect. If you're talking, I feel like saying something. I just talk over you and vice versa. But like,
I'm hoping he comes down for the football game next year. I told him to hit up the tailgate.
It's 4th in outdoor track and won 2 individual natties.
Natties and indoor. All right. He follows everything Clemson.
Yeah, well, let's not talk about football because
Huh.
we're a basketball school and we don't need to be.
Hoops.
Yes.
We are now going on 2 hours, Vish.
The 2-hour mark is probably about time to call it. Also, I tried to do sections so I could chop this up into podcasts. I'm gonna have to do some creative editing because we went back to the women at the end. Anyway,
just put basketball part 1 and basketball.
I'm gonna cut the part at the beginning where you talked about yourself into a separate one too. So
okay. Also, if anybody from Adidas is watching this, please make this into a hoodie. That is all.
Meanwhile, there's way too much Clemson chat. All right, Edward, we'll tolerate you, but we're not making this a Clemson show. So, I mean, we're not talking about Clemson sprinters.
Hey, listen, Vish, it's a click. It's a click. Let him talk.
He can talk when we're playing Clemson. He can come on.
Also, Edward is only here because he likes to follow my stuff. So you're welcome.
I mean, that is a viewer. Download the podcast too, by the way. if you're gonna boost our numbers, hit the podcast. Download that too.
Yes, there you go. We got to get one of me, you, and Matt though. We should save 3 hours for that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel I gotta warn Matt, just talk over us, man, because he's very respectful. He's not from Miami. He's not used to just
in season. Wait till it's in season.
Yeah, we're both from Miami or from South Florida at least, so we're used to just butting into people and being rude. He's much more.
Yeah, and then me and you both went to Miami, so we're very passionate.
But Miami has a football team like crazy.
That's crazy. Tell me, Edward. You know what?
I mean,
I'm gonna block you on Twitter, Edward.
There's nothing really even to say to that. I mean, it is what it is.
Actually, I can't even block him on Twitter. We actually text now. That's how much I know him at this point.
I mean, you can block phone numbers too.
Well, because my DMs on Twitter don't always send me notifications.
Oh yes, I know.
So I have to. Edward's is talking crap.
Yeah,
your basketball team stinks.
Both of them.
Both of them.
By the way, thanks for the 2 wins for women. We probably needed that to get into the tourney in the first place. So.
Yeah, and thanks for the $60.
I mean, the problem is he's on such a delay. We gotta now wait 10 more seconds to see that he actually saw it. So he has.
How long is the delay?
I honestly don't know. But by the time they when we were talking on the show, people react in the comments 15, 20, 30 seconds later. So. Anyway, I think we've pretty much covered. I gotta do a show with Matt tomorrow on basketball, so this will be fun. But anyway,
I'll be at work tomorrow.
You'll be at work.
So yeah, and then Thursday I'll be MIA because I'm belated celebrating my birthday because I was sick for it last week.
Yeah. Well, you're still coming off of it, but then Friday spring game, you're gonna be there, right?
Assuming it's not pouring, because I don't really want to sit in the pouring rain. It's supposed to. It's like a 50% chance of rain, so. If it's really nasty weather, I'm probably gonna end up watching it at home because I don't really want to drive all the way to Broward and sit in pouring rain.
Yeah, that's right. It's a dry pink.
Yeah, it's not at Hard Rock. If it's at Hard Rock, I wouldn't care because the seats are covered. But I think there's certain areas of drive pink that are covered. I have to look it up. I really want to go, but I also just don't want to sit in the nasty weather, especially just coming off.
Yeah, no, you'll get sick again.
So
anyway.
And assuming that I still have this cough, I don't know that people are going to want to be around me because they're going to be like, what the hell? But it's just that usual post-nasal cough after you've been sick that takes weeks to go away. So there's that. But anyway.
Yeah, it's you know what, the positive, it's going to remind you that we were in the Final Four because that's where you caught it. So
yes, I call it Final Four cooties.
I don't even remember. Now I don't even remember what we said to him. But he's responding to this is not working. We might need to pull him onto the show at some point. Just to, I think, whenever we're gonna play Clemson, so we'll pull him on. Right?
Yeah. So, and he's actually literally been watching for the full 2 hours. So,
I mean, we have more than one person watching, so there are people watching this. Believe it.
Well, I don't know who's been commenting.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know who's been in and out. I don't know
if Anthony's still here.
I don't know.
Anthony was commenting at the beginning, and Bernard was here pretty early. So, but again, Adidas, make this into a hoodie, please.
Yeah,
I beg of you.
I'm shocked at the number of hoodies you told me you had because it's not the number I think people would expect.
Well, I have a lot of hoodies in general, but Miami hoodies, there's not a lot because they don't make a lot of women's sizing, and the men's ones are humongous. So But I have a few good ones. But we were talking basketball, and I don't really have a basketball hoodie per se, so this is like the closest thing to this long sleeve.
I'm assuming he means Watsco.
It's a great place to see. Yeah. I think so. But okay,
Yeah,
Vish, let's end this.
yeah, let's do this. The comments going to keep coming. So, all right. Well, welcome to the Six Rings Kane show and the 5 Reasons family. I don't know if we go family.
Yes, it's on my Twitter bio.
Network. It is on our Twitter bio.
Yes.
Hoodie Girl / Melissa / Mel, whatever. I don't know what I'm calling you at this point. When I see you in person,
I've been calling you Melissa.
I've been calling you Melissa. And it feels very formal, and I don't know what you're from.
Hoodie Girl is kind of just a YouTube persona,
right? Like when I see you in person, I'm not going to be like, "Hey, it's Hoodie Girl."
Hey,
like,
yeah, no, it's just
that'd be weird. That'd be weird.
It's just the Coop thing. That's what he started calling me.
So is it actually
yesterday?
Is it Melissa or is it Mel? Like, what should I be calling?
Either one. Okay. Doesn't matter. I don't care.
All right.
Whatever is easier for you. It's fine. I don't know.
I feel like I've been switching. I've been doing more Melissa than Mel, but I switched.
I'll answer to both. It's all good.
Well, same thing for me.
I'm gonna start calling Edward Eddie just to annoy him. I don't know if he likes to be called Eddie, but
now we gotta wait for man. You keep doing this.
No, let's just end it. He can text me.
Well, actually, no. By the time I play the outro and stuff, the comments will still keep showing up. So we'll get it in.
Well, you gotta add me and Matt to the.
I gotta recut the whole thing anyway. We got like Frank Ponce on there and stuff. So there's some stuff that's gotta come out. Dono killing.
Is that really Frank Ponce?
Yeah. No, we've had real people on the show. Like we had Eric McLean from ACC Network.
He looked
that
really
was real.
Skinny.
Yeah, no, those were real interviews we did.
Oh, yeah. No, you gotta get one of me and Matt.
Yeah, no, we're definitely. I'm gonna have to recut the whole thing because we have.
Yeah.
Actually, Edward's boy Eric McLean, who went to Clemson, he joined us after the A&M game. We had this long conversation about how Miami's really good. He was like, "I'll come on for the Clemson game because that's going to be for the ACC." We were so bad. We didn't even ask him to come back.
No,
it was so bad. That was like, we can't talk. We can't bring this man back here.
The best called shot of the year was me telling Dono I'd be back for the Final Four.
That definitely was good.
And then that actually happened. And then I called him out on Twitter and he had me back. And that was a really fun podcast because I literally just said, "Hey, I'll be back for the Final Four." And then we did it. And I can tell you, I didn't expect us to actually make the Final Four because I had us losing in my brackets in the Sweet 16 to Houston. So there's that.
Gotta keep the faith. Dono's in our intro too.
From now on, I just gotta pick Miami for everything.
Dono's in our intro too because he actually used to be part of this show before he started doing Locked On, but he also still does other shows on the network, and we were doing a charity stream, so he joined us for like hurricane relief, and rather than leave studio, he hit end broadcast because he still has producer rights and killed the stream. So that thing where it cuts out is him killing. It's him killing in the middle of a charity show. We had to send out new lists like, please come back.
Coach Hayes did that the other night. He was streaming because he was celebrating like the 3-year anniversary of his YouTube thing, and he like ended the broadcast when somebody he had someone on. They went to go leave it and ended the broadcast.
Yeah, no,
I don't even think he realized it. We're all in the drought.
There's several buttons. It's like, are you sure? Like Donna went through all the menus to kill us. But that's what that thing.
I don't have an end broadcast button. I just have a leave studio.
Yeah, you won't have it. That's why he has producer rights. That's why he could kill.
Do I get to click on things and bring it up, or is that just you?
It might just be me. You can give it a shot. See what happens.
No, it's just you. Yeah. Bummer.
You don't have. Oh, you don't. I can also see if anyone's backstage and stuff. I have all sorts of. You know what? I will screenshot this and send it to you so you can see what I'm looking at. Off air. But grab that for you. I'm not going to do it right now unless you want to keep this thing going. I think we've probably done enough.
2 hours and 8 minutes in.
Yeah.
Listen, the first time you and Matt have a broadcast, we should go to 3 hours and 5 minutes.
We need to do some kind of a telethon with donations or something if we're going to save the children or something. NIL money, maybe.
No,
we'll still flows.
Add it to the Melissa needs another hoodie fund.
I mean, we got to get a 6-ring Canes hoodie, and I'll get you one. So
make women's sizes.
Yeah,
or youth sizes.
Okay, all right. I'll bring this out for the next show. So this is. We'll talk afterwards. I don't want to air this on the air, but anyway, we'll talk backstage after this. All right. Thanks again. Thanks for joining the network. I knew this was going to be fun, and we talked for 2+ hours.
Yes, I'm an official co-host, people. Yes. So you will see me a lot. I apologize in advance.
apologize. This is the best basketball talk I've had in a while. So yeah, I mean, it as much as I love hearing my own voice and talking to myself on camera, you know, it's good to have you here.
Yes. No, I love chatting good basketball. There's not a lot of Canes YouTube that talk. There's really not any Canes YouTube that talks.
Especially not women's. So like, we're gonna cover that.
And it's a woman talking about women's basketball, which may even make it more relatable. I don't know, because I played basketball, but hey, here we go.
I guess this is the coach.
Edward was on the coach. He calls into Coach Hayes a lot. Yeah. It's like 30 minutes in, and the stream just ended last week. We're like, and then you had to start a whole new stream, and we had to get it. It was funny, but yeah. We gotta get Edward on the show because he actually is very knowledgeable about sports in general, even though he's a Clemson fan. His only flaw. Oh, and he's a Patriots fan, so it's his second
multiple
flaw.
flaws.
Although I'm a Cowboys fan,
so am I. So this is now a Cowboys show too, so we can.
Yes.
There's some symmetry there.
Yes, we'll talk about the NFL draft after the draft at the end of April. We'll see who the Cowboys get. Hopefully, it's Bijan Robinson.
Really, you want to go running back? All right, that's a whole other show.
We
gotta stop talking. We gotta stop
talking.
A stud. We're gonna hit 3 hours, and we've already talked about baseball and
2 hours.
God knows what else. And it's
Next
enough.
show, I'm showing up in my Micah Parsons jersey.
I have my Michael Irvin throwback. I always break out because it's got you got
I
dual
have
handle.
A few
You got
old
dual
throwbacks,
handle.
but Micah Parsons.
Yeah, but I mean, he's the
all right, Vish.
He's got the Canes and the.
Go Canes! Let's go. Make this into a hoodie, Adidas.
The 6 Ring Kane Show. Yeah. The 6 Ring Kane Show. Yeah. The 6 Rings Kane Show. You know.